everyone. Welcome to episode 67 of the Nintendo Prime podcast. We had a little bit of a snafu there. I forgot how many layouts I have on this damn thing for the podcast. Holy crap. Let's just hit a few more and see what happens. What's this one? Right. Hi.
You just don't crash the damn stream.
How about this? How about this? I'm turning everything on. What about that? Yeah, I don't know. We have so many different layouts, but we really only use the main one here. Anyways, folks, welcome back. Uh-oh. So I'm hearing the stream back.
Yeah, that was me. I fixed it.
Of course it was Jake. Of course it was. Anyways, how you guys doing? Welcome back to episode 67 of the Nintendo Prime podcast. I am your host, as always, Nathaniel Ruffle-Jans. Across the table from me, we got Mr. Eric Moore. How's it going?
Good.
Behind us on the TV, we'll start with our regular. We got Mr. Mike Odyssey, otherwise known as the sexiest man in Florida.
All I know, it wasn't me this time.
I didn't even know his name was Mike. I just know him as the sexiest man in Florida.
No, exactly. I'm surprised that's not his YouTube channel. Mike Odyssey, it's labeled incorrectly.
That's how I found him. I just Googled the sexiest man in Florida.
Exactly. I mean, it literally comes up in the phone.
I Google often. Mike's always right there.
I mean, I feel sorry for Florida then.
He's in the white pages under sexiest man. And then our special guest this week, we have returning for, I don't know, the fourth or fifth time at this point. I've lost track. Jake Randall.
And yeah, I noticed we did not give a shout out to him.
No, we did not. We gave a shout out to Sunbro Nation, apparently.
Well,
I'll fix that. The layout itself has Sunbro Nation in it. I'll have to go
forgot
fix
that part of it.
I'll have to go fix that in a moment. I'll fix that in a moment. But here's the thing. While I go fix it, we can actually keep this shindig going. Yeah. And I'm going to go... Well, you know what? My headphones can come with me. So
it has another error, too. It says Mike Odyssey. Why doesn't it say sexiest man in Florida?
I mean, that's true.
I will fix it. Don't worry. It will be fixed. All right. While I fix that, let's get into how we start every podcast besides razzing me for messing up.
Yep.
And what have we been playing lately? Let's kick it over to Jake. What have you been playing lately, man?
Okay, so honestly, I'm not playing anything right now because I just platinum Spider-Man Remastered, and I did that in like 3 days, and then like a couple days before that, I platinum Ratchet and Clank. So I was finally like catching up on some games, and so since I just beat Spider-Man, now I'm trying to figure out, all right, what's my next thing going to be? The last Nintendo Switch game I beat was like a month ago. I finally played Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And that was my first time playing it. I played through that because I obviously want to do Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but then by the end of that, it's such a long game, I was burnt out on that gameplay, so I needed a little break. And I guess it's not really playing a game, but I just modded my 3DS after I platinum Spider-Man, so I just, I might want to play a 3DS game now. But there's a couple games that are on my list for next to play, and maybe you guys can help me pick. God of War 2018, because obviously that's going to be coming out. But also, I kind of really want to play Disney Dreamlight Valley. And then I was really into Splatoon 2 for a long time, and then I fell out of it, but I just watched the Splatoon 3 live stream, and it had me have that itch. So Splatoon 3 is another one. So I'm trying to choose between those games. And I guess like Dreamlight Valley and Splatoon 3, they're kind of like pick up and play. I guess I could kind of do all three at once, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Sorry, I was admiring myself for a moment. I look a little jacked in the arms right now. Seriously. Anyways, I've just been moving furniture this last week, so my muscles are just firing off right now. So I'll go next year. Look, I've been playing Splatoon 3. Let's just be honest. That's the game that came out last week. That's what I've been playing.
I'm going to try to zoom in.
Splatoon 3 is a ton of fun. I understand how some people are like, oh, it just feels like Splatoon 2. What a shocker. Splatoon feels like Splatoon?
Yeah.
I totally did not expect that going into playing Splatoon. It's almost like when I pick up Call of Duty after not playing it for 5 years, it just kind of feels like I'm playing Call of Duty again. I picked up a gun and I went pew pew. I just threw a few grenades. It is what it is. The story mode's pretty interesting. Obviously, there's a new story mode in every game, so that's always one of the new things: new mechanics, new weapons, new stages. No new modes, which is something that I think some people are a little upset about. Although they did updates to the modes, so that's pretty cool. At least Salmon Run, I should say, that is the biggest update where they added new stuff. Haven't dove deep into Salmon Run yet, so whatever. I've been doing a lot of the multiplayer stuff, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. and slowly getting my skill level to be semi-passable. I'll never be X ranked unless I get carried, and even then I'll just lose it in one day. But that's okay. I'm cool with that. That being said, that's really the only game I've been focusing on. I mean, obviously we had a Nintendo Direct this last week, so I've been really, really busy juggling all the news and all the content for that. But Splatoon 3, man, it is next to Legends Arceus, my second favorite game I played this year so far. Eric, what have you been playing lately?
Just Madden.
Madden.
I haven't touched my Switch this week.
Madden.
Which,
By the way, Madden
Yeah.
23, the latest and greatest.
yeah, the most polished Madden of all time.
With bugs galore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Haven't had a chance to even touch my Switch this week. Work has again this month has just been. I don't even know what day it is, to be completely honest. The only reason why I know it's Wednesday is because I'm sitting here.
I feel like this is a weekly recurrence. You should repeat the same thing.
I mean, yeah. What do you
I played
expect?
some Madden, and I've been really busy.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, that's my
gonna,
life.
I was going
Welcome to my life.
to go a bit more personal on some gratification things that you might still find time for, but we'll save that for another. This is the right podcast for that.
Yeah.
If you make time for that, you make time to game.
Yeah, right. Right.
All right.
Don't you diss my hangout time with Paul Mella.
What?
I didn't need to know. I didn't need to know what you used. That's a little too personal. At least you just go straight to the Jergens. That's the most popular one.
I love Jergens.
I think we got some Johnson & Johnson something upstairs right now.
No,
Anyways,
Jergens like that.
moving on. Mike Odyssey, otherwise known as the sexiest man in Florida, although it feels weird saying that after that conversation. How are we doing, Mike? What have you been playing lately?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So this game, they gave me this game back in August. The embargo was lifted at August 18. Review's not out yet. I just playing the
A little
game.
behind.
Right now.
That's all right.
It's called Curse to Golf. It's a really cool game. Recommended. It's a golf game, but it's a really
Is that
Great.
side-scrolling one?
was that scrolling? I think so. It's actually a side scrolling game.
Yeah, okay.
Golf.
Then I know which one you're talking about then, yeah. I saw it.
Different levels. It's a really cool game, and I'm addicted to it. I can
Those are
just
cool.
I mean, it's very challenging, and then there's a lot of it has 18 holes, but it's crazy. Like
I love getting
No.
18 holes.
yeah, so basically, playing that game, I downloaded Tunic on the Xbox Series X just to get that played a little bit of that. Pretty cool game. I'm just waiting for the Switch one so I can play there. What else? Oh, and I also downloaded. Speaking of Spider-Man, I actually downloaded Spider-Man for the first time on the PlayStation 5. So looking forward to playing that one too.
Nice. And then you gotta play
Man,
Miles Morales right
I love that you fixed the thing on the bottom.
I had to.
One thing on the bottom. Jake Randall, really?
I love that he just noticed. Like I know he has the stream open over there.
Woo!
Oh, by the way, I picked up some games. This I've had. Like my subscribers have been like begging me to play this game on stream, the Smurfs one. But I picked up Madden, Xbox One. Madden right there. Okay. This is inspired by Nate. I picked up Madden 2017. Looking it up.
17. Nice.
Oh, is that with Rob Gronkowski on the cover?
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, it's
I don't know
Gronk.
that. I don't know
Of course
that.
you know
Tom
that.
Brady on 2018.
Of course you know
Dude, I picked up this game brand new. Look at it, dude.
that. Connect Adventures.
Yes, from the Xbox 360.
Let's
Remember
go.
Remember when the Kinect came out? That was at the Wii adversary, but of course the
Yeah, and the PlayStation Move,
yeah. But the Wii kind of beat him up.
which
But
the PlayStation VR
But the Wii
still
kinda,
uses
you had to get the pot
PlayStation
shot in,
Move
but the Wii
controller.
kind of beat him out.
yeah. I mean, this was my favorite game out of that thing here. Yeah. This.
Just getting the console wars going early here.
But it was pretty.
Console wars are silly.
Yeah,
they are. They're dumb.
There's no such thing as console wars. You can see there's. I've showed you 3 different games: PlayStation, Xbox, and and Switch. So
Wow, he's a Sega hater. Wow.
Sega.
Yeah.
I got the Sega Mini. I got the first one, the little mini one.
Not showing a single Dreamcast game. What a hater.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I'll wait for the.
Dude, where's the? I'm sorry. Where's my Magnavox games? You're just a hater.
Oh, I have an emulator with it on the computer. So.
Oh, see? You're stealing.
Not
Hater.
stealing. I'm
Hater,
borrowing.
you hate the company.
Wow.
I was low key afraid that like my internet connection would stutter out because I've just been downloading ROMs in the back.
Yeah, he's just sitting back there. By the way, I have the
Oh, the
entire
mod in my
PS5
3DS.
library on my computer already. Just waiting for the emulator to drop. Oh man. So yeah, I don't know. That's guys. If you don't know, there was a Nintendo Direct this week. It's pretty much the main brux of what we're gonna end up talking about today. This is the Nintendo Prime podcast, so the state of play is sort of irrelevant for our purposes. Although I did watch the state of play, of course. And it was really cool because they were on the same day. It was like a mini E3 day. It was kind of cool. You got
Right?
the
Yeah, that
Direct
was awesome.
and the state of play. But we're going to kind of break this down into a few different areas we're going to go. And the first thing we're going to address is before we start talking about the actual Direct, because the very first time would be, hey, well, what were just our thoughts on the Direct? Do we enjoy it? Likes, dislikes? Then we can go into individual games and stuff like that. I mean... We already know what Jake wants to talk about. He was teasing it on Twitter. He's got 12 hours conversation coming up. But so the first thing,
Crisis Core, baby.
there it is, Crisis Core.
Yeah, man.
So what we're gonna talk about first is I just want to have a conversation on video game leaks, because I think a lot of disappointment over the last 48 hours has been related to video game leaks, for the Direct in particular. And what's interesting, because I put up a video today, it had some Reddit rumor in it, which I noted is probably bullshit, but it sounded cool, so I talked about it as one of my 5 stories. And of course, a lot of comments come in, oh, didn't you learn anything from the Direct? Didn't you learn that? Didn't you learn this? What's interesting is, I don't know that anybody viewing the podcast right now needs this explained to them, but on my channel, there was really only 4 games rumored for the actual Direct, as like Jeff Grubb and others saying these games will be there. And it was really only Jeff Grubb saying these games will be there. He's the only one that was saying games will be there. So if you're thinking,
Did he say It Takes Two? Was that him?
yes, he said he knew it was there, like just knew. He wasn't even playing around with that. He's like, no, I know that's there. That's one of them. So It Takes Two. He said Breath of the Wild with a name drop would be there. Breath of the Wild 2 with a name drop. So we got that. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom. So he was correct on that. The one he was off on was the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. Some people think he said Metroid.
Well, Metroid Prime too, right?
He said, no, okay, so here's the clarification. He never said he had a source saying that Metroid Prime would be there. He just assumed it would be there because he thinks it's coming out this holiday. So that was like
Right,
a
that's what he
speculation.
doubled down on, is that it's coming out.
Yeah, so
this
he was speculating it would be at the Direct, but he noted on his shows, nobody told him it would be at the Direct. He had no source on it. It was just him.
I bet it still comes out
speculating.
this year. I bet they like do it in a tweet.
Yeah,
But-
he said that last week. He said this is Nintendo. They could drop it in a tweet. Might not be at the Direct. No one's telling me it's at the Direct.
He also in his last video he accepted the loss. He said that he accepts the loss for
He
Metroid
changed
Prime.
his name on Twitter to L.
Yes, yeah, he changed it to
Yeah,
L.
he accepts the loss for Metroid Prime, and he is gonna donate his hair to Locks of Love. He said it himself.
Yeah,
So,
but he did clarify he still has till the end of this year. If the game does drop this year, he's out of it, because the bet wasn't about it being at the Direct. The bet was it coming out before the end of the year. So we'll see. He doesn't think it's coming out anymore, clearly, but you never know. He also, by the way, just to clarify on Jeff Grubb, to give his credit, not only did he change his username to L, obviously, on Twitter, which I thought was hilarious. He didn't tweet out anything after the Direct. He just changed it to L and left it at that. And then he did his last of the Nintendo stream, where he addressed it at the very beginning. And this is what Jeff Grubb said about it. With Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker HD, that he knew before the Direct dropped that he should have dropped a clarification that they had not confirmed that it was going to be there. Not the Breath of the Wild stuff, but the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD specifically was apparently a new source that they were using that they did not get verified. So basically they were lied to by someone who made up stuff. That's what he's claiming, anyways. You don't have to believe him. That's up to you guys if you want to believe him or not. It's not like he's ever going to out the people and create all this drama out of it. One thing Jeff Grubb did say, and we'll see if he holds to it. It's easy to say it now, but let's wait till February. Is that he would no longer leak games for directs, even if he does know. He's saying that because he fully owned that they messed up with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. He's taken full responsibility and said, we messed up. We do have contacts. We should have verified. We didn't verify.
Can I just say something about Jeff Grubb real quick? Like, so first of all, he has a better track record than like 95% of
it's
leakers
insane.
or genuine leakers out there. But also, what makes him like really cool and special is like he doesn't really gloat when he gets stuff right. He's like, all right, cool, it was right. But when he gets stuff wrong, he's got to be one of the only ones that takes any kind of accountability, and he takes a lot of accountability. He went all the way to like change his Twitter name to L. You know what I mean? We've seen, I won't name them by name because I'm talking negatively about them, but we've seen Twitter leakers who just won't acknowledge it, double down, try to like defend themselves and say their wording, got them out of it. And he's like, no, he could do that too because he has valid reasons.
Yep.
But he doesn't because he understands what expectations he put out there.
Yep.
So, like, I think it's an L for us that he's not going to share anything else.
Well, clarify. He said he wouldn't share anything
he's,
for
he's,
directs.
He's really good. He's legit, you know?
Yeah, he said he wouldn't share anything for directs. Not that, like, randomly throughout the year he won't talk about
No, that's what I meant, specifically for directs.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because he knew about It Takes Two. We found out about that from him, and he knew about Breath of the Wild with a name drop. And he noted that the Breath of the Wild name drop was a completely different source that they've used before and has been right. So it was basically the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess was a new source. They didn't vet, even though they're game journalists, and they had the ability to vet because he has actual contacts at Nintendo of America, and he didn't bother to even check. And this is the one thing I love about him is he's so transparent. Hey, we messed up. We should have checked. We should have never put it out there without checking. We put it out there. It built unrealistic expectations, and
I'd so much rather follow a leaker like that.
Yeah.
Who maybe they're not right 100% of the time, which no one is.
Yeah.
But they're real with you. They're honest with you. They take accountability. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. That's why in this Splatfest, make sure you sign up for Team Grubb.
Yep. And the day before the direct, him and Emily Rogers talked because Emily Rogers was trying to get him to maybe clarify that he wasn't 100% sure Wind Waker and Twilight Princess would be there. Jeff obviously didn't do that because he just went ride and die. He literally said it on his show last night. I ride and died with this and got burned. And every time I ride and die without verification, I get burned. So I don't know why I keep doing it. I need to stop doing it. But then his partner, Mike, tried to take some of the blame. And he's like, no. The source you got from me. So, like, that doesn't count. And also, I run the show. And I'm the one that decided to put it out there. And I shouldn't have. And 3, whatever. And then Mike went on some rattling off a bunch of things that Jeff has gotten right. Because, obviously, he doesn't like that people just come at him so hard because he got this one wrong, and he took the L, and and one thing I like is he said there's no excuse. He's not us. He's not us just talking. We don't necessarily know stuff going on. He's a journalist okay, Jake. But like he's been a journalist for over a decade. Worked at many big outlets. He's been to a bunch of E3s, met tons of developers, done tons of interviews. Like he knows his stuff, and so it's a little disappointing, obviously, for me to hear that he didn't vet this new source. That's disappointing for me to hear. Just out of, I'm glad he's saying it, but also it's almost like we kind of expect better of him to do that, and I think he expects better of himself as well. I think it was one of those he got caught up in the moment and threw it out there because he does that because he does so many live streams now. I think he just got caught up in the moment and he threw it out and he's like, oh, I can't take that back.
Really wanted it to happen.
I already said it. I can't take it back. And that's probably why when Emily tried to tell him to take it back and he's like, I already put it out there. You're still taking it back now.
I really want this to happen.
Yeah, and he thought it made sense too. Like he kept thinking in his mind, well, this logically makes sense. So it might happen anyways. And then we're all right. Well, about that. But again, guys, like he got literally 2 weeks ago, he told us what week the direct was going to be. He said the week of the 12th. That was 100% correct. And then he said It Takes Two, and he said Breath of the Wild was it. So like the bottom line is that's it. That's all that was actually rumored for the Direct. So when you hear, oh, Metroid Prime, no, he talked about it, as did others, that it might be there, but he clarified he had nobody saying it was going to be there. So it was just him speculating. And this is where Jeff Grubb gets in trouble, because people can't. I think what happens, and I'm putting this on content creators, because a couple of videos I watched that were really hyping up the Direct and talking about all these rumored games and claiming, oh, Jeff Grubb said this. Or like, they didn't go and watch what Jeff Grubb said. They just, like, reported on what other websites threw up. And they didn't actually go see that, hey, if you had seen this, you would have known Jeff Grubb never said that it's not a rumor. It's just he's just speculating that Metroid would be there. He doesn't have a source on it. But you have to dig into it. You have to listen. You have to go watch the content. And I don't think a lot of content creators do the research. And what was weird for me today is seeing these negative comments and these people yelling at me. And I'm just like, did you guys watch my videos last week? Because every person that did, like, there was other people coming in the comments and they were like, dude, why are you yelling at Nintendo Prime? He literally covered this all last week. And the GameCube remasters, that came from Emily Rogers. And in the same report from the GameCube remasters, literally after he read it, he read the very next thing that Emily Rogers said, which is, I do not know what's in the Direct. So how do people take the GameCube remasters and go, there's going to be a bunch of GameCube remasters here? Like, that's not, the source of the rumor didn't even say that. But people just made that assumption because content creators started acting as if, oh, Emily Rogers is trustworthy, so these are going to be here. Like, that's not what she said, though. She didn't say they were going to be there. And she's even said she hasn't heard anything about the Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. But she has heard about Metroid. But she hasn't even heard that they even exist. But she did know that doesn't mean they don't. She doesn't know everything Nintendo's doing. Anyway, so it was just kind of weird going through all that and just watching it. And I think it was a nice reminder that we all need to, when we hear rumors, remember that they are unverifiable information for the listener. Okay? It doesn't matter how trustworthy...
I'm the source.
Yeah, like how trustworthy Jeff Grubb is, or Emily Rogers, or Takahashi Machizuki, or whoever. Bottom line is, do you know who their source is? You don't, do you? Can you verify their information? No, you can't. That's why it's called a rumor. For them, it might not be a rumor. Like for Jeff Grubb, he just knew It Takes Two is going to be there. But we have to treat it, hearing that, as if it's a rumor, because we don't know. Now, you could choose to trust whoever you want, and that's totally fine. But as much as I even trust Jeff, as much as I trust Emily Rogers, Nate Drake, as much as I trust them, it's always, you still got to have the skepticism. Because it's not officially announced. And if it's not officially announced, and you don't have a contact to verify what he's saying, treat it as a rumor. And if you do that, I think it helps you hype responsibly and maybe reel it in a little bit. Yep. The people know, like last week, I literally said on this podcast, hey, we're talking about all these rumors and all this. Don't expect all this stuff at the Direct. That's insane. It would be the biggest Direct of all time. Just be realistic. Be realistic. We're not getting all this stuff at the Direct.
No. Mike's version
Mike's version of the Direct, though.
of the Direct would have been the biggest Direct of all time.
Yeah, Mike. Mike, how are you taking that fat L right now?
I'm not taking any. I'm taking a victory.
You're taking a victory lap. There was a lot of games.
There was
almost
stuff.
nothing
He
I
called
said.
He's
some
not
of
taking that fat L. He's taking that fat V. Victory.
Victory lap.
God.
Jeez.
Victory lap.
Yesterday, no, the day before actually the day of the Nintendo Direct, I did a little pre-show and I had three or four cats join me. But what I did was we rewatched the first Nintendo Direct from February, okay? And then we noticed how many games were first-party games and how many games were filler games from third parties. We realized that there were like three or four first-party games. Everything else was like back to back, and that that's helped us set the expectation about what this Nintendo Direct would be like. It was exactly the same. It started with the first-party game.
They're all exactly the same. They're all the same.
Fire Emblem, and then they went back to back with farm games.
Yeah, they're all the same. Every Direct is the same thing.
Yeah, so they're if we go ahead and set the expectation, okay, so Nintendo normally announces 3 to 4 first-party games, okay? 3 to first-party games. The rest are third-party games. Okay, they always start with the first party. They in the middle it's a first party, and then at the end is a first party. So there's already 3 first parties there. We know they're gonna end it with the first party. In the middle first party, they start with the first party. So we know that at least 3 first party games could be there. Not depending on not knowing which ones they will be, but at least that helps people set. I was like joking around saying, oh yeah, we're gonna have Metroid Prime. We're gonna have 3 Zeldas. Actually, we're gonna have 4 Zeldas. We're gonna have this and that. But it's all fun and games, But at the end, that's why I wanted to rewatch the entire. We took that hour and we watched the entire direct, so that we could set the expectation. And then by the time that we ended that direct, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're not gonna really see that many. Metroid is not gonna be there, and this is not gonna be there, and this is not gonna be. And it sets the expectation,
People had the expectations too high.
Well, I actually want to just take credit right now as the only person
Take it, man. Take it.
who said that first-party Nintendo IPs, Pilot Wings and 1080 snowboarding would both be represented in the direct in my pre-show,
Nice.
and I was correct.
Noise.
So, I mean, you did a hint earlier. Hey, I have sources. Leave me alone. Maybe I gotta start going to Jake behind the scenes. Jake, let's low down on this direct. Let's go. So credit to Jake. Toot his own horn over there.
Thank you.
But yeah, look, guys. Some people, look at this and they go, they haven't you learned the lesson. Don't cover rumors. Rumors are always unverifiable information for me. Whether they're right or wrong doesn't change the merit of covering them. The reason you cover them is to have gaming conversations. And to have gaming conversations about possibilities. And that is so fun. There's entire YouTube channels that are built around making up things about the next Zelda game. And none of the things they say might be right. And it doesn't change the fact that they get hundreds of thousands of views. Yep. Because people like imagining possibilities. So rumors give us a direction to possibly imagine possibilities. And when they come from people that have a pretty damn good track record like Jeff Grubb, Emily Rogers, and Nate Drake, yeah, those are the ones that are most worth having conversations around because those ones have a better than 50% chance of being real. So it's just nice to have a direction there and have something to talk about. And honestly, and this is where I always say, sometimes we all need to take personal responsibility. And I've been doing it. I've been covering rumors for so long, and I made sure last week that I changed how I cover rumors. And I was given kudos by many people for noting that this is all unverifiable. Bring the salt. Look, these are every day reminding people, hey, if the direct is next week, these are the only things.
You know what's funny, Nate?
But
the people that give you a hard time for that and don't listen to what you actually say in your videos, they're the same people that if everything was right and correct, would still give you crap for it. And you know what I mean? They just want to be miserable about whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with you, man. You do a good job. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I try. And that's why, guys, I've been doing this a long time. When people are like, oh, haven't you learned your lesson? Dude, I've been covering rumors for 30 years. What are you talking about? What lesson am I supposed to understand? There ain't nothing happening I haven't seen before. This is nothing. This is actually pretty good. Of the actual rumors for the direct, 75% of them happened. So what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and put my step forward. I'm going to take credit for one prediction that I made, and which gives me 100% track record. It's going to be Pikmin 4. Okay, so I put Pikmin 4 out there. I just said it. I blurted it out, and it happened. So I'm joining the elite.
If the sexiest man in Florida says Pikmin's going to be at the direct, you listen.
It really actually wasn't supposed to be there. Nintendo was just watching our podcast, and they're like, "Oh shit, Mike said it. It's got to be there. Get it in there. Get it in there now."
No, see, they were watching my reaction.
Gameplay, but the sexiest man in Florida said it,
Yep.
so we got to do something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, listen, and I'm slowly figuring out, okay, that this is my own little Truman Show. Okay, I know there's cameras everywhere, and I'm gonna find them.
There is if you're at my house.
Right.
Not in the bedrooms though. That's a little creepy. I don't need.
Or bathrooms.
I mean, having one in my room might not be a bad idea. Anyways, set that to record. Let's okay.
Oh, wait. Before we move on,
Yeah.
there's something in the chat that I just wanted to address about the topic. All Things Mario said a lot of stuff in the chat that he was expressing his opinions about leakers. No way coming at Nate, which I totally respect. But one thing I just wanted to say concerning that is that like not all leakers are the same. Like there's such a variety. There's people that genuinely are trying to help and get information, but then there's other people that are just clout chasing and taking guesses and spreading lies on purpose. So like I don't think it's right to like put them all in one category.
I agree.
They're human beings. They're like so different. But that's all I wanted to say about
Yeah,
that.
well,
And
that's
Jeff
like
Grubb, I just think is one of the good ones.
yeah, and like the rumor, I talked about today, which I mean, I literally said, hey, look, this is some person on Reddit. No, never leaked anything before. They've been on Reddit a while. Hey, you know what? This is just fun to talk about. I'm not treating like I didn't have even a conversation about it. I literally, while reading it, because they said something like Metroid Prime HD was never a thing, and then I literally slipped in a comment from Emily Rogers and showed it on screen. So, no, well, she just said today that it is a thing. So who are you going to believe? This guy that has no track record or someone who is one of the most believable insiders out there? So it's kind of like, yeah, you can even see when I'm covering them. There's a difference in when I cover Jeff Grubb or Emily Rogers or Nate Drake versus some random person that has no track record. It's like, yeah, I'm going to tell you, be skeptical as hell. I tell you that for all of them, but at least I speak with more confidence. And I discuss, like, as an example, these rumors today were crazy and incredible, included a new Mario game. If they were from legit leakers, at least people that I feel are legit, we'd be talking about it on the podcast. Mm-hmm. But we're not actually talking about those rumors because...
Speaking of legit leakers, I'm going to be right back.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Hell yeah.
Anyways...
seriously. Oh, yeah.
I'll still be able to hear you, though, so you can intro the next segment. I'll hear
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Just as long as we don't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, you never know. So, do you guys have any thoughts in general just about game leaks and around these events?
I mean, leakers, two things to remember. Leakers are people. Mistakes will happen. And two, until it's actually announced and said, it is very well possible that their sources were correct and plans changed last second. It is very well possible that that happened. So just because they threw something out there and were 100%, quote unquote, 100% certain that this would happen, it's very well possible that plans can change. And so you kind of got to also look into that as well, too.
Yeah, Mike, you got any other thoughts? Or we move it on?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it depends on who states the leak. In this case, Jeff took the responsibility for not confirming that first leak, and that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's our responsibility to hype responsible, and also not to take everything at basically at
face value.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure that get excited for the direct, get excited for the event. Make sure you go into it responsibly, because believe it or not, if we didn't know about Breath of the Wild and the title being revealed, I think we would have been having a different conversation. We would have been a little bit more excited. But we knew about the title. We knew about the Breath of the Wild too. At the end,
I was still excited.
Imagine not knowing that was what was going to happen.
I think people expected it anyways.
Yeah. Okay, Nate. But anyway,
sorry.
Yeah.
And talking to Nintendo fans, they've been telling me like for 3 months that if it wasn't at the June Direct, it'd be at the September one.
No, but I'm saying, imagine not knowing. Imagine not knowing. Imagine. Let's use your imagination. Say, and it's just hype responsibly. But something did happen, okay? And I noticed this. Nobody noticed it. Probably nobody cares. But a listing did change yesterday for Metroid Prime 4. Okay, Amazon did a one of the little what do you call that, little mistakes that Amazon does? They went ahead and almost listed the Metroid Prime 4 as available. Then they took it down right away, but then they still left it. They left it available for pre-order, digital and physical. When it wasn't like that. Both Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid pre-orders were up with their little landing pages and their 2022 December 31st dates, like their
placeholder dates.
Those placeholders. But they were just basically general pages with nothing on them. and Metroid Prime 4 had a change. Now you can actually order the digital version like that. I haven't ordered it. Maybe we get a digital code before, but now they have digital codes and a whole bunch of stuff. Like if it's ready, like it's ready for sale. So something like Eric said, something might have happened behind the scenes. Metroid Prime 4 could have been a game for the beginning of the year, and the pre-order could have gone up, and something could have happened that they decided to pull back, and Amazon didn't get the memo, So who knows?
Yeah, what's weird about the Amazon pages is when it says like shipped from the Nintendo store, it's actually Nintendo that manages the listings for their products. So that would actually be on Nintendo, someone at Nintendo, not which, by the way, this happens. Who was this? This just happened with the Mario movie, where they weren't updating it properly on the French Illumination website, so it was causing all this confusion.
Well, and how many times have we seen games go live on like the UK eShop or something that all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, oops.
You want proof that Nintendo themselves messes up? Remember when they delayed Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp? Well, one region didn't get the memo and sent the digital versions live on launch day.
Whoops.
And then had to yank them back and give refunds. It was like 2 days before they fixed that. It was crazy. So some people like beat the game. So that's right. There are people out there that have beat Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp already legally.
Yeah.
And then had their game yanked and given a refund.
That's not
That would suck.
It's like, once you make a mistake like that, it's kind of like, maybe you should just release it and call it a day at that point. At that point, it's already out and you're the ones that leaked it. So,
as well.
I honestly, I haven't checked. I wonder if it even got dumped, so people are actually just playing around with it right now somewhere. I wouldn't even be surprised if that happened. I haven't bothered to look. But it's...
I already have it on my modded 3DS.
Yeah, of course you do. Maybe the OGs. The OGs you have on there. So, looking to our next topic, we're going to get into the actual direct itself. Enough about leaks. Real, Unreal, whatever. Unreal Engine, yes.
Good
we're
one.
going to have an Unreal... Yeah, that was a bad one, actually. We're going to have an unreal time talking about the Nintendo Direct. I want to get into some... There we go. I want to get into some reactions. Just our initial reactions to the overall Direct, the highs, the lows. Did we like it? Did we not? As always, I always ask the audience after the Direct happened. It seemed the consensus, people were giving it sort of a C rating on the academic scale. A lot of people and lots of social media, a lot of content creators pretty much just shitting on it, which is kind of funny. I can't remember a Direct that content creators weren't just shitting on it. I don't think I've seen a positive overall reaction to a Nintendo Direct in like a decade. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So
I think expectations were way higher than they need to be for this Direct.
So Mike, where you're at? I have a lot to say, but where are you at on this? How do you feel about the Direct?
Man, as the thing is that because we're content creators, we've covered so much. So without even wanting, our expectations of the Direct were high, because we just can't help it. We cover a lot of games that we want to see, and then when you see Farm Simulator after Farm Simulator after Farm Simulator, first party game, Farm Simulator after Farm Simulator after Fire Emblem, Farm Simulator, you see all these games pass by and like, okay, any minute now, something's gonna come up, something's gonna happen. And then they cover more of Mario plus Rabbids. No. I'm like, no, why? You guys have had so much TV time already. Give somebody else a chance. I'm like, so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, they're not really gonna cover much. I don't think at a third throughout the Nintendo Direct, my expectations were already kind of. I was setting my mood not to be upset about it because we need to cover it. Be impartial about it when we cover it and not try to, add to the negativity that I know was gonna be out there. But personally, I was. I'm not gonna say it's the worst because there's so many games still that are coming out I'm probably gonna enjoy, but it also wasn't the best. You know, it wasn't the best. The best. I think it was more like a Square Enix presentation than a Nintendo Direct itself, because there were so many games that were covered there, and I wish I would have seen a little more from Nintendo when it comes to first party games that we haven't heard of before. You know, not a lot of things were out there already. A lot of games that already mentioned. I mean, like I said, Mario Sparks of Hope, they got their own presentation plus their own direct plus. They get every week they get something out there, new content, new entries with the developers. And did they really need that spot on the direct?
Yes.
They
Just keep feeding me the info.
Just keep feeding.
Just keep
What are you
feeding me.
talking about? It's one of my most hyped games of the year. Keep feeding me.
they didn't need that spot in the direct, but I understand why, because
Comes out next month.
Yeah. I mean, I get your sentiment.
But to be fair, it is a next month game. Like, it'd be weird if this wasn't happening. Like, it's coming out like soon.
But listen, I understand why, and it's because Nintendo is actually treating it like their Mario game.
Well,
Like
I mean, most of
Mario-
those events were by Ubisoft. So
Yeah, it is by Ubisoft, but their main character is there. Their baby is there. You know, Mario. They want to put their baby up front and center as much as they can, and and promote them as
Sure.
much as they can, so that game that can to help out. Because if that game does bad, Mario does bad because Mario is in it. You know what I mean?
it ain't gonna do bad.
Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Mario is the main name in the title, so I understand why they did it. But yeah, if I were to grade this Nintendo Direct, I would probably give it I would say a C. A C.
Okay.
I've heard people call it a D. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go as low as D, because I mean, even if I didn't like some games, some people out there, actually, I put a poll out there. 70% of people liked it. 70%. So, even though I'm not so far into that 70%, a lot of people found it entertaining. They were happy at the end. And Breath of the Wild 2 just did it at the end. So it's pretty good. I'm not too disappointed.
Wait, so C is a bad grade? I just had a friend recently tell me that they actually really liked D. I didn't know that. But I would actually give it an 8 out of 10. And I'm not like a big farming sim guy, so I understand, people saying it's like a farming sim direct. I'm not. I am excited about the Harvest Moon remake, The Story of Seasons.
Yeah.
A Wonderful Life, because A Wonderful Life was the Harvest Moon that I played a ton in my childhood. But besides that, I'm not excited about it. But all the JRPGs, like, even though I can recognize it wasn't a lot of variety, I can't not be hyped for a Fire Emblem and Octopath Traveler 2. Those two alone make it an 8 out of 10 for me. And then the fact that even without gameplay, we got the Pikmin 4 announcement and the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom title reveal. Like, it's almost pushing a 9 out of 10. If there was more gameplay from Zelda and there was gameplay from Pikmin, then it definitely would. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. But every take I've seen on the Direct, I can't say that I necessarily disagree. Like, everyone that has a take that didn't like it or did like it, I can understand why.
It's all personal preference. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's a direct full of games you like, you're gonna give it a good grade. If it's not,
and
then
I think a lot of the letdown was because there are certain games that are announced that people didn't get a chance to play, and because they were bringing it to the Nintendo Switch. Like, for example, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. There are a lot of people who did not own the GameCube or did not own the Wii or did not own the Wii U, but they'd had a chance. They've been hearing about Twilight Princess and Wind Waker so much that they say, wait, I finally get a chance to play this game on the Switch, and not just play it. I don't have to wait that long because those games are coming out this year. Same thing with Metroid Prime. There are a lot of people who did not play Metroid Prime the first game. They played all the Metroid after that, but their expectation was set that some major games were going to be released this year. You know what I mean? A lot of the games that were announced there, which were great, are for the future, not for this year. But I think that's what the expectation was, that we were going to get some of these ports or remake drops this year, so that I guess that's what the expectation. And when we didn't get that, and we just got a whole bunch of games, even though great, announced for next year, that's when things kind of went down for some people.
I don't know why they said winter, which doesn't begin till the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand. Why, but yeah, everybody has their things, stuff.
For me, the direct was an A+. I think it was one of the best directs they've ever had. And look, you can be disappointed in what wasn't there. It doesn't change what was there. And the bottom line is, we got a bunch of announcements of stuff that we either didn't know was coming to Switch or hadn't heard of the games before. Like the whole joke that, Farming Simulator Direct. There were 4 games that you could fit into the Farming Simulator category, which is really farming RPG category.
6.
What, 6? What was the other 2? Hold on. Let me go through the list here. I got
Farming Simulator.
let's see, Story Seasons.
Farming Simulator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Let me see. The Rune Factory one, I guess there was 2 there because they announced the brand new one, but I count that as just one general announcement because they didn't actually show the new one. Fae Farm. Yep. They showed Harvestella briefly.
Farm Emblem Engage.
And then I think was Various Day Life, was that another one? I think Various Day Life was another one.
Fae Farm.
Yeah, Fae Farm, I mentioned that one.
Yeah, he did say that one.
Yeah, I think Various Day Life's the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, there was 20... Wait, how many different...
No, I agree with you on this, by the way. I'm on your side. I'm saying there was 6, but I still think the ratio... There were so many other things.
Yeah, so there's a lot in that. There's a lot that was in that genre. I'll give you 5, 6, whatever. But there was, over 26 games shown. Yeah. That's not a majority of the Direct. It's not even a third of the Direct. So I'm so confused. Like, they kicked it off with Fire Emblem Engage. Hello, brand new spanking Fire Emblem game. Where's the hype?
Right.
The hype was there for 3 houses. Why is it not here now? I'm so confused. Why are we upset that this is... We haven't had a new Fire Emblem in 3 years. And we're getting it to kick off next year. That's awesome. It Takes Two. We're getting Game of the Year. Yeah, I might have known it was coming, but it's confirmed now. It Takes Two. Game of the Year last year. Coming over. Fatal Frame. For the first time. Playable officially in English. And remastered. Master of the Lunar Eclipse.
The one thing that I was confused about with Fatal Frame, and I was for the one that just came out this summer as well.
Yeah.
Is will they have it so it's like gyro controls so you can use your Switch as an actual camera?
I think so. I believe this one had that on.
Why not show that though? Why do I have to be confused about that? That should be
they are always they don't advertise Fatal Frame well. Yeah, they don't advertise Fatal Frame very well. They've never advertised it well, to be honest.
But they put it in the Direct. You know what I mean? I don't know.
A lot of that's up to the developers to decide to have a better trailer. But what are you gonna do?
There was one game that I saw that actually I was happy about because I didn't get the chance to play it on the Wii. It's Tales of Symphonia remastered, which is a pretty cool game. Why
not include the sequel though?
Yeah.
Also, why not make it run in 60 FPS
right,
like it did on GameCube? Why does it have to be 30 still? I don't understand.
Am I the only one with Tales of Symphonia? Because I actually played that on the GameCube.
I beat it on GameCube
2 years ago.
Yeah, I beat it on GameCube.
The graphics on the GameCube look so much better.
Yeah. They do.
Yeah, that's remastered
and it was 60 FPS, which is the PS2 one was 30, but the
I'm
GameCube
gonna
one was
buy
60.
it because I love that game, but I was just looking at it during the Direct, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, it wasn't a very impressive look for that one. But for people who haven't played it, whatever. It's a great game. Enjoy it. It's got an amazing story. It's got amazing combat. Enjoy that game. It's really good.
Absolutely agreed.
But I'm just looking at this. Okay, so I went through that's 3 games that we didn't know about before this Direct. We got a look at the Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the next DLC pass. The next part of the DLC pass. That's cool. I actually, when they showed off SpongeBob, the Cosmic Shake, which we already knew was coming to Switch, they showed off Switch footage, confirmed after the fact that it was Switch footage. That looked incredible on Switch.
Yeah, one thing I can say about SpongeBob, 2 words. I'm ready.
I'm ready. The fitness boxing one, I kind of made a joke about when that showed up. I'm like, who had that on their bingo card? Fitness boxing, Fist of the North Star. I don't know too many.
Who actually called that?
Who?
Do you know Ant Dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
He called it? Okay, of course.
Yeah,
he
and
did.
then he retweeted that he called it, and it blew up.
That's awesome.
He did it sarcastically.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, why? Who really thinks this is gonna be a thing? All right, it's a thing. Tunic. Obviously, I already thought Tunic was incredible. It's just nice to see it on Switch. For the first time, we had the Front Mission 1, 2, and 3 remakes announced. They were announced in this direct. That's awesome.
Yeah, can we talk about those for just a second?
Sure.
Because like a lot of younger people, I'm sure don't know.
No idea
about
what
that.
these are. Yeah.
And if you're hyped about Fire Emblem, that's basically what Front Mission is. It's kind of like, I guess, closer to Advance Wars technically, because it's like with the mechs and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a strategy RPG, and they were really high quality. I think in the U.S. I had Front Mission 3 on the PS1, and I grew up with that game. That was the only one released in America, and then I think they released Front Mission 1 on the DS in the 2000s, and Front Mission 2 has never been here.
No.
But if you like Fire Emblem, if you like strategy RPG type of games, don't sleep on those. Definitely buy them and support them so we can maybe get a new one or more stuff for that. They're really good games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all remakes too. So I mean,
updated visuals and everything. Yeah, again, I like those kind of games. So when they announced that, I was like, okay, that works for me. And I know people are like, oh, farming simulators. I'm not into them. Okay, well, you know what? Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. They didn't say it out loud because they can't. But it's basically a remake of Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. They can't say it because they don't own the rights to Harvest Moon. But it's basically a remake by the people who created the original game. How can you not be excited about that?
Harvest Moon, it's pretty obvious because it's called A Wonderful Life.
Yeah, they're literally using the same name. I don't even know how they're getting away with that, to be honest. But yeah, there it is. Yeah,
it's the subtitle. They can do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, they couldn't say that it was a remake, but it is. It's a remake. Or a spiritual successor, maybe. I don't know. But either way, the original
it's a
story...
remake. It's a remake.
Yeah. I mean, again, they can't say that. But, yes, for all intents and purposes, it definitely looked like one. And Story of Seasons was incredible the first time around. Why? Because it's just people who actually made Harvest Moon in the first place. So, look, anyone cannot be in the fire...
The only farm that he likes is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is a legit copy of the old school Harvest Moon games before they became Story of Seasons.
Yes.
So many people that love Stardew Valley don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know the source of that. Yep. We got the announcement of the first Splatoon 3 Splatfest. I actually didn't expect that to be announced here at all. I didn't think they were going to show anything for Splatoon 3. And here we go. Yep. They announced the first Splatfest, which that one caught me off guard. Octopath Traveler 2 caught me way off guard. People saw it on live stream. I did not expect that to get announced at all. And because I know they always said a sequel was being made, but then did the phone thing, then they went the triangle strategy, and I'm like, it might be a bit before we see this. It's announced, and so people might be, oh, why do I care? It's on everything. Well, yeah, they ported the first one to everything. Who cares? A great game's a great game. We're gonna get it day one on Switch. Don't worry about it. It ain't gonna be one of those delayed ports. We're gonna get it day one. There's a huge audience for it here. They know it. So, Octopath Traveler 2 was really exciting for me. Obviously, I already expressed I want to see more and more Sparks of Hope. I'm all cool with show me all the Sparks of Hope you want. It comes out in like 4 weeks or something, so I'm so pumped for that. Didn't care as much about the Rune Factory stuff. Just never really quite got into that IP as much.
Same.
But then there's a Nintendo Switch Online expansion. Hey, they added N64 games I care about.
Do you know what the first Rune Factory was titled? I'm probably actually wrong on this. I'll Google it. But what I think it's titled?
What? I have no idea.
It's called Rune Factory: A Futuristic Harvest Moon. I'm pretty sure that's the actual title.
How'd they get away with that? Let me just borrow another IP's name in the subtitle? No way. That can't be official. There's no way that got through.
Rune Factory 3.
No, it's called A Fantasy Harvest Moon. That is official.
Rune Factory 3, A Fantasy Harvest Moon.
At the time, was the IP owned by the same studio or the same publisher? I don't know how they got that through.
It might have been. Yes, Natsume. It was.
Okay,
so yes,
that explains how they got away with it. Yeah. They wouldn't get away with that today. They're different developers now. But
an old-fashioned Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Yeah, Charles Trudell, you're right.
But I was really excited about the
I have a
expansion
PSP game that's called A Futuristic Harvest Moon, though. I want to find it now.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
Sure. But yeah, the NSO stuff was really exciting. I actually really like 1080 snowboarding. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. I know people are disappointed you can't transfer Pokemon into it from your games, but I really don't care. What did I say when it was announced? Oh, I have to talk to Eric because we're clearly going to have a betting special built around playing Pokemon Stadium minigames. And then, then what happened? Oh, then they dropped GoldenEye with online exclusivity on Switch. Like, it's coming to Xbox 4K, but you can't play it online. You can only play it online on Switch. Why? I don't know, but that's a thing. So Switch, I guess, technically has the best version of it because you can actually play with your friends.
Yeah. Jake, you're looking for an innocent life.
An innocent life.
Or innocent life.
I found it literally as soon as you said that, Eric.
Yeah.
Funny. Hey,
a futuristic Harvest Moon.
Yeah, it says it.
That's crazy.
Let's go.
Yo, for Pikmin 4 fans, people who were hyped on that, they did show like a bit of the world, and it actually looked really nice. You know, the
There we go.
Oh, nice, man. Nice.
Dude, this is sealed.
Yeah. I wonder how many of those are still around sealed. That's crazy.
I have this beautiful PSP that I actually built myself from the ground up. New screen, all the components, everything. I made this thing with every PSP game ever on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of my PSP games are sealed.
I feel like every time Jake comes on, he reminds me how jealous I am of his collection. Like, it's almost like it should be a museum.
I'm actually gonna sell. I'm gonna sell like most of my collection this year. I think.
I take donations. You know, I accept the donations.
Yeah, I'm excited to know. I don't have a wall of games. If you could just give me like half a wall, that'd be great.
I've got almost 500 physical Switch games now.
Well, there you go. If you're getting rid of those, I mean,
if you get rid of
those ones, I'm actually not.
At least I can pay for shipping. I can pay for shipping.
Oh, okay.
I won't. Look, I can't afford the games, but I'll pay for the boxes to get here. Don't worry about it. I'll put the extra insurance on it. We're good. Next day delivery, airmail.
Yeah, right.
So like that was really exciting to me. Obviously, they showed off the free update for Mario Strikers. That was great. Dude, Diddy Kong, man. I'm all about Diddy Kong. So that was cool. I like that. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course, they showed us 2 of the courses for it and said it's coming before the end of the year.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That was great. That we technically the golf thing was delayed, but it's still coming before the end of this year for Switch Sports. And I thought the golf gameplay looked really good. Pikmin 4, obviously. And yeah, we did get Breath of the Wild 2, aka... Actually, it's not really AKA. It has an official name now, so I can't even say AKA. AKA would be Breath of the Wild 2.
AKA, because it's still known as both.
Well, no, because Breath of the Wild 2 was never official in the first place. Yeah, it'd be also known as Breath of the Wild 2.
So you're right.
Formerly known as.
It'd be formally because it was never an official title.
Yeah, well, it wasn't an official.
It was the title was the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the
It
Wild.
still is known as that.
No.
Well,
I
it
like
was
everybody
not-
on the internet.
Is
But
it not the sequel to Breath of the Wild?
Well, it is a sequel.
Yes.
technically, Yeah.
Yeah,
also known as
but that's Nintendo's official branding.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
2 is made up. That's fans.
No,
It's like
I
Switch
know.
Pro. It's not a real thing.
I know.
Yeah. The official here on Nintendo Press says The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now they have
What if it's Tears of the Kingdom?
Right.
And everyone's just wrong.
So there was actually a debate about that, and someone pointed out that because they have all the different language versions of it out, the way it's spelled in a certain language confirmed that it was actually Tears because it can't be interpreted in either way.
That's that person's opinion.
Yeah, that's that person's
Wrong.
Yeah, that's the opinion of that branch of Nintendo. That branch of Nintendo, you're wrong. It's Tears.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
It's Tears. You've only used Tears in multiple Zelda games, but now we're going with Tears.
That poor king and all those tears.
The kingdom's just ripping one. That's what Tears is short for, just a fat rip, and it's just the king letting loose.
I mean, look at Hyrule. It's been ripped.
Yeah, it's been ripped apart. And then also, did you notice the gaseous cloud storms surrounding the islands in the sky? Where'd that gas come from?
Nice.
And it's Breath of the Wild.
Love me a good gap.
Listen, Breath of the Wild. Technically, we had tears all over because every time you got to a shrine or you got to a tower, that little drop came like a little tear and dropped into the Sheikah Slate. So,
Like, I'm gonna be honest. If someone told me that the director was gonna have a new Fire Emblem, a new Pikmin, it was gonna have Breath of the Wild 2, now known as Tears of the Kingdom. It was going to have DLC updates. The DLC updates I probably would have believed. I wouldn't have believed Pikmin 4 at all because thought it was vaporware and didn't exist. If you're gonna tell me we're gonna get the Splatfest, we're gonna get Octopath Traveler 2, Fatal Frame, we were gonna end up getting remakes for Tales of Symphonia, and like I would have told you, man, that already sounds like the greatest direct ever, and that's what we got. That's like
And you
that's
didn't
like
even
looking at.
I don't
the
think he even
games-
said Bayonetta.
Yeah, didn't even get the
Well,
Bayonetta
here's the
3,
thing,
which
now.
the
You
reason
have
I
to
didn't
take
really
those
count
things with a
Bayonetta
grain of
3.
salt, because that sounds great on paper, but like we got the Metroid Prime 4 treatment for Pikmin 4, which is the title.
No,
screen,
we got
which who knows
better.
if we'll have
We
the
got
game in
better.
5 years.
We got better.
we-
We actually saw a smidge of the game. They did show a smidge of the game on
They
screen.
saw something that was just like a 3D render. It wasn't gameplay.
Hey, that
And they
3D
said
render
that.
is all we got was a logo for Metroid Prime 4.
Okay, so it will like beat it by this much.
Hey,
mean, yeah.
hey,
But like you can't call that the same as like
and we got a release year.
you can't call that as an equivalent as a reveal as like what we got with Fire Emblem.
You know, matter who play, matter who.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Here's why I can call it equivalent. One, because it's confirmed to exist after saying it existed for all these years. Miyamoto did, but never seeing it. And two, they said it's coming next year. Metroid Prime 4 was just said, here's a logo, and it's now in development, and that was it. Like, it's just a different level from that. You can say it's not on the same level as Fire Emblem, because one, we saw gameplay. Two, we have an exact release date. Of course, it's not quite on that level of announcing, but it's definitely ahead of what they did with Metroid Prime 4, which didn't promise anything.
Wait, Nate.
Yes.
I have a request in the I'm gonna do it in the Discord to try to be polite.
Oh boy. You know you don't have to be polite with me, right? I will survive.
No,
I promise
I
I
do,
won't cry.
about
I
this.
won't cry too much.
But listen, at least now, we know that in January 20th we got Fire Emblem Engage. February 24th we got Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Then in May we got Breath of the Wild. So at least we have 2023. We know what it's looking like. You know, I think Advance Wars is gonna make it 2023. We also got Pikmin 4 2023. So we got 1, 2,
What is
3.
going on with Advanced Wars? Honestly, so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, they're gonna just shadow drop that and not even announce it. Oh yeah, it's been on eStore for a while now.
Sure, Jake. I'm gonna say yes. I'm not even gonna. I'll explain in a moment. I'll give it a small pause why it's kind of funny. I'll explain towards the end. You can plug it though. Go for it.
I'll do it. I'll do it like now. Now everyone's like, "What's going on?"
No,
So
I'll
stay
explain at
tuned.
the end. Some of my fans
If you
know
want
why
me
this
to-
is
if
funny.
you want to know what I
That's my
DM
idea.
Nate about, make sure you hit the like button because I won't do it till we hit 100 likes. So,
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
there we
oh,
go.
boy.
Now I'm giving back. Now we're helping each other. out.
Now we're
we go.
helping each
There we
other out. Well, because what you're gonna do doesn't help me actually at all. But that's okay.
The likes don't help you.
No,
hold on.
not the likes, not the likes. What you're gonna
Well,
do
that's,
if the
that's
likes
what
are
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Now because I'm attaching.
And
it
then
to
I'll
the likes,
explain at the
it
end of the
helps
podcast, because this is actually something that's happening. It's already been locked in. Why it's kind of funny that plug happened. Which, by the way, the plug that's happening, totally awesome. This company's been really friendly with us in the past, so it's gonna be a cool plug. So okay, I obviously think really highly of the Direct, very very highly. I love it. Like, even just saying that stuff on paper, okay, on paper, but then like, oh, Pikmin 4 didn't show that much. I don't give a crap. Pikmin 4 exists, and I'm happy.
Yep.
I'm happy. Like, sometimes I just need to know something exists. Like,
That's
that's
like me
that's
being like Cyberpunk 2077 exists and I'm happy.
yeah, but that's a new
Not good
IP.
enough.
That's a new IP though. There's no pre.
So
Yeah,
Pikmin
the-
4 is an old IP. Okay.
Yeah, and we just had Pikmin 3 Deluxe ported over, so there's an expectation set for what to expect for Pikmin 4. There was the expectation for Cyberpunk 2077
Well-
was whatever they told you it should be.
Well, no, they made The Witcher 3 was the last game they made before that. So
Sure.
the expectations were pretty high.
Yes, they were high, but they were also high because through false marketing.
You're high. Get out of here.
Did they not have false marketing with the game? Did they not show off things that weren't there?
Yeah, and Pikmin 4 is so bad they don't even show anything.
Pikmin 4 is so bad. It was.
All I know, listen, all I
Pikmin's
know
an
is
established IP. We know what to expect from it, is what I'm saying.
5 games for 2023, and I'm happy about that. 5 games for 2023.
I mean, put it this way: they only showed us 30 seconds of Zelda. Are we supposed to just trash game, throw it out?
Yes.
It sucks.
It sucks.
Just a little bit.
Worst game ever.
for real, like, what do you guys think about the name? After having a name like Breath of the Wild, which, by the way, to me, is the best name of any game I've ever heard. Okay, Breath of the Wild is just majestic. Now,
Tears of the Kingdom is better than Tears of the Scrote. I will say that.
I mean, yeah. You're not wrong.
When I saw the Tears of the, I was convinced that's what it was going to be.
So,
It was a plot twist.
look,
I hope nothing's
I'm just
twisting.
gonna be honest. I thought Breath of the Wild was a stupid name when it came out, and I think that
I
this
kind of
name
did
is.
too, Nate. I honestly kind of agree with. Now I love it so much, and now I'm kind of on the sexy man in Florida's side. But I agree.
I mean, seriously, outside of like A Link Between Worlds and A Link to the Past, they've always stuck with like 2 words or one joiner word, like Ocarina of Time. But then there's Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. All of a sudden, Breath of the Wild. What does that even mean? Oh, you're outside and you take a breath of air? What is that? What? Oh, it's an open air. Oh, it's an open world game. No. It's not open world. It's open air.
Saying like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I kind of take it like that, like
Yeah.
it's like Breath of the Wild. And
It grew on me.
Like a breath
It grew
of
on
fresh
me,
air.
and it's my
I
favorite
don't
game
know.
of all time. So the name grew on me, and it's not like I hate it today. But at the time, I thought it was stupid. And honestly, I think this name is stupid too. But
It fit the game.
But-
the name fit the game.
the thing is, I actually kind of think this name's a little less stupid because I do think, unlike Breath of the Wild, like Breath of the Wild fit the game, but it didn't really describe anything in the game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a.
It was like the theme of the game, though.
But was it?
I think so.
Yeah.
So we've never had open world Zelda before, and
Not like this.
No, we haven't.
so Zelda 1's not open world?
Well, not like this. You can't climb mountains.
You can go anywhere in Zelda 1.
Yeah. Okay. So a 2D open world, I think, is a distinctly different genre than a 3D open.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. but
Nothing
it
that's
is-
vast.
But
it
that's like,
wasn't first.
saying the name of the game is just The Legend of Zelda open world. Like that doesn't.
I think in
mean
Nate's,
anything to
Nate's
me.
he sees Zelda 1 as a Breath of the Wild kind of the scenery and then the sunsets. And then
I think Breath of the Wild, in a lot of ways, is the truest, closest Zelda we've ever gotten
To the original.
Zelda.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
And they did it without dungeons, which was really impressive that they were able to pull that off without having traditional dungeons. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, I
Also,
know they technically
here's
argue
my
they have 4. but-
conspiracy theory that I wanted to talk about with the name is remember when there was that weird rumor that made no sense. There was like the Nintendo Direct's going to get delayed because the Queen died.
Mhm.
It kind of makes sense why maybe some people have thought that, given now that we know the title. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Some people said that why the direct wasn't aired live there might have been because of this. Like it
And now
just,
that we know it was called Tears of the Kingdom,
yeah,
which
feels
is
a little
literally kind of
inappropriate
what
given
was
the
going
time.
on.
Yeah, yeah,
I would get that they wanted maybe put a little distance between them, but it ended up they were like whatever.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's a video game. Most people aren't really gonna make the association that title was
Well,
chosen.
it's a video
well.
game, but look what they did with Advance Wars.
Yeah, that was a. The Queen was a planned event. Like we knew she was gonna pass away eventually. She was 96. Like it wasn't a surprise, and she died of natural causes. Versus a war that doesn't need to happen, and people are dying senselessly.
Yeah, but it's so crazy. Like Call of Duty's still coming out. Like all these
That's
games.
because
That's
those companies don't care. Those companies don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: do you think there's the same expectations on Activision Blizzard as there is on Nintendo with a war game? Like for just in terms of image, do you think like their
okay, let
image?
me ask
Do you
you
think
this.
Activision
Let me
Blizzard?
counter that with this. Do you think anyone would have really cared and been like, "Oh my God, Nintendo supports war"? If they would have just released
I
it?
think overall no, but I do think that
What if they released it?
you have to recognize
they
that there was a
announced it would be
social media
released this
movement to
year?
delay it.
But what if it's in this direct? They're like, "Oh, by the way, coming November, Advance Wars."
I know, and they,
Anyone
but they,
care?
but they,
Anyone
I,
care now?
I didn't care in the first place, but I have to
Right.
recognize
Most
there
people
was,
didn't, and I feel like no one would now.
but there was a social media movement to get Nintendo to delay it.
There's always a social media. movement.
I know, but Nintendo is very sensitive to those movements, and there wasn't one to delay Call of Duty. So, and even if there was, Activision Blizzard doesn't care.
Give me my money.
They literally have an ongoing Call of Duty game that's always going on forever because it's one of those battle royales. So like, what are they supposed to do? Oh, we're gonna shut down the battle royale? No, of course they're not gonna shut it down. So
Right.
yeah, look, I don't think Nintendo should have delayed it in the first place.
I'm so offended that they released Splatoon 3 with everything still going on with the Ukraine and Russia. I'm outraged.
they're having real squid wars out there. It's intense. The spray
yeah,
and
they're
ink
getting
everywhere.
inked. And it's not okay.
The spray and ink everywhere. No, Yeah, I don't know, man. That's one of those situations that I think Nintendo overreacted, but also that's what Nintendo does because they're so worried about their family first image sometimes, which is weird because they publish games that are M-rated like Bayonetta 3. But people don't really get mad at Nintendo. It doesn't, like, Bayonetta 3 doesn't really hurt their reputation versus somebody saying, oh, how dare Nintendo release a game with war in the title while there's a war. Like, I think that's a dumb correlation. But you know what? CNN or something would have ran with it. And Nintendo doesn't want
title to Advanced Peace.
Advanced Peace.
Leave the game exactly the same.
The game exactly the same. Yeah. And I think, I don't know. I don't agree with them delaying it in the first place, but it is what it is. And Nintendo apparently is going to stick by it till this war is over. And hopefully it ends sooner than later.
Yeah, they actually issued some kind of statement on the game that is not the game. I think somebody went ahead and contacted them and told them if the game was canceled altogether. They said no, the game was just didn't have a release date.
Yeah, they're going to release it. It's already done. We already know that.
Do you guys remember that one random person who had pre-ordered it digitally on the eShop?
Yeah.
It let them download it on release day.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. They weren't the only one. Apparently there was like 3 people. They were just the only one posting it online. But yeah.
Had to ruin it for everybody else.
Well, that's why I kept wondering, like, is there a ROM of it out there somewhere that someone...
Yeah, someone should have dumped it.
Yeah, like it wasn't just one person that gained
their
access.
Switch back to the internet. Like, come on,
Yeah. Well, people kept telling this person,
oh,
don't leave your internet on. Don't leave your internet on. They're gonna block it. Well, I mean, it is what it is. The person didn't, when Nintendo shuts it off, they shut it off. I'm not gonna get mad about it. It's not your fault. Yeah. It's not your fault. It was Nintendo's mistake for not shutting it off. So, but yeah, that's it's all interesting. Like this Direct, man, I loved everything pretty much about it. Like, I know there's the jokes about the farming simulators. Look, every Direct, if you go back, every Direct has like a collection of games that are themed around the same thing.
Every Direct has 6 farming simulators. Come on.
No, but sometimes they'll be themed around platformers. Sometimes they'll be themed around JRPGs. Sometimes they'll be themed around adventure games. Sometimes they'll be themed around indies. Well, they have entire indie worlds for that. But the point is like every single Direct always has a handful of games that are in the same genre. Why farming sims is suddenly the genre we're going to shit on over all the other genres that sometimes get featured is beyond me. Because those games clearly sell well, or they wouldn't keep making them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
So, like, I don't like the thing's made for everybody. Like these Directs are. There's 26 plus games. If you got one game in the Direct that you're interested in,
there was over 30. Well, okay, sorry, 30 announcements. So
yeah, 30 announcements. Yeah. So, like, you think about that and you go, look, before the Direct, did you know about this one thing that you're excited for? Or that you're looking forward to? No. Okay, but you do know. You did find out something during the Direct that you're happy with, right? Yeah. Then how's the Direct bad? Because if they didn't have the Direct, you wouldn't know about that thing. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to please a crowd of 111 million Switch users. It's impossible. There's stuff in there for everybody. I don't think there's anybody that came out of that Direct and go, there's nothing I want to play. And if there is, I'm sorry.
If you don't want to play Zelda, then just get out.
Yeah. You want to play Zelda? Why are you on my channel? Get out of here. We're all Zelda guys.
The sexiest man in Florida doesn't like you, so what's the point?
I read a comment about this guy. Comment that said, "Oh, I've never played a Zelda game, but actually seeing that game in the Direct actually made me want to look into it." So hey, got a new Hylian to the family.
So Eric, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I really thought it was good. I mean, how can it not be when you have, GoldenEye, Pokemon Stadium? I mean, the 64 games that I grew up with, and
yeah, I knew those were gonna make you happy.
Played the crap out of it.
I saw you reacting in the chat to
GoldenEye together.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
it's happening.
It's gonna happen.
Dibs odd job.
Odd job.
Are you sure we're not banning him? Yeah. He's always banned in multiplayer.
Yeah, right.
I don't think they fixed the balance on that one.
Right. Anytime you get Zelda news.
Lily Young says, I don't play Zelda. Don't offend me. First of all, you should try it, Lily. But also, I was listening when you were on the podcast. I even said this to these guys before the stream started. And I thought you were like the kindest human. You were like the nicest person. I was like, oh, she's so sweet. I just wanted to say that.
Aww.
Yeah, we got a really nice community here. I don't think I've ever had anyone call in that because for those who don't know, my weekly live streams every now and then I'll let fans call in, and I don't think we've had anyone call in that wasn't nice. So that's really good. Thanks to the having a friendly community. Thank you to you guys for being that way. Because sometimes in the chat it gets a little rough, but when you actually call in, it's all good. So Eric, continue. Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get Zelda news, it's always amazing.
You.
I mean, I love
I mean,
it.
literally, they could have dropped that, and I wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah, it just wins.
I'm good. Like
Winning.
that remix is one of the best.
Automatic. And then one of the other games that I was absolutely super excited about was It Takes Two, because holy shit, that game looked amazing. I wanted to play it. I mean, granted, I could play it on the Xbox, but I don't know. It just feels like
feels
something.
like a Switch game.
Yeah, it does.
Feels like a Switch game.
It does.
Couch co-op, baby.
Right. Hey, something that actually
has couch co-op. Yes.
couch co-op.
It's built around it.
Right. Wow. You know. And then obviously seeing a little bit more of Sparks of Hope is always good for me. The one thing I'm kind of surprised still that they didn't kind of reiterate the DLC announcement with the Rayman.
I'm not surprised because they made that announcement over the weekend. Like their marketing campaign is every time we show it, it's something new.
I suppose. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I actually really didn't know that, and then all of a sudden I had seen it, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
what?
it happened over the weekend.
Yeah, well.
It was the Ubisoft Forward that I didn't cover.
You know how much I follow shit like that?
Yeah, because I
Not
didn't
much.
live stream it. If
Yeah,
I
I know.
live streamed
Right.
it,
Yeah,
you
probably would
been
have. Yeah.
But I didn't
Right.
stream it because it was my son's birthday party that day. So
Yeah. So
I was.
no, I liked it. It's solid A. I mean A for sure. So, I mean, you know, it's hopefully it had something in there for you. If it didn't, I mean, I'm sorry.
Put it
But
this way, my fiance is excited because Pikmin 4 was there, and she's been begging me for when the next Pikmin was going to come out since she beat Pikmin 3 on Wii U.
there you go.
She legit beat Pikmin 3 on Wii U. Keeps asking me when the next one's coming out. Like, we got this Hey Pikmin. She took one look at the trailer for that, and she said, "What is this garbage?"
I mean, can we take a second to appreciate Nintendo though?
Even she's got expectations of Pikmin.
I mean, can we take a second to appreciate Nintendo though for the absolute troll
Oh,
with Pikmin
Look.
Bloom?
if that wasn't a troll,
Yeah,
then
right.
I don't.
Right. I mean, it was
Because
like
they spent like it felt like 5 minutes
Oh,
on
it
Pikmin
felt
Bloom,
like a
and they showed you
whole
nothing
ton.
new. Everything
I
they
think
showed.
that game is just struggling super hard. So obviously they're just like, it was like a desperation, just like.
I mean, it was one of those things
trying
that
to get people to download it.
it was one of those
So many
things that in the
people
middle of
didn't
it
even
was
know
like,
it's been out for a year.
why are
and
we
thought
showing
that
this?
was like a new announcement.
Yeah.
I think it was just odd that he goes, well, as you guys know, we've been working really hard on the Super Mario movie. And we're like,
Yeah.
Super Mario trailer. Oh, and
Yeah.
then Super Nintendo World. Wait, okay, Super Nintendo World trailer. And then,
Something.
Pikmin.
And then it's like,
Pikmin
but we're
Bloom.
gonna talk about Pikmin Bloom. Oh, do you guys see this shirt I'm wearing? Yeah. And they didn't even announce that you could buy it. Like you
How
can
do
buy
you-
that shirt. You legit can go out and buy it right now. It's available on the Nintendo store.
How do you go all the way from Super Mario movie to Pikmin?
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, all Miyamoto's been doing is the movie. Then he's like, oh, by the way, yeah. Oh, Pikmin Bloom. Oh, let's see what I've been doing in Pikmin Bloom. Let's look at my street map and my walking. And okay, you're not showing. And I kept sitting there. I'm like, well, do you have something new to show? No, this is exactly what Pikmin Bloom's been the entire last year. There's no new content here. Okay,
Now I know where all Miyamoto's hoes live because he showed his Pikmin Bloom.
right.
All right,
Right.
Tokyo.
He just opened himself off to getting stalked by everyone in Japan. Well, all right, we're gonna walk the path we saw in Pikmin Bloom.
Yeah. Right.
But
No,
you know,
that was
Pikmin 4
that
thing,
was a
so-
handed it over to an intern, and the intern just randomly ran around.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole time they were showing Pikmin Bloom, I just sat there and I said, "Don't do this to me. If you don't show Pikmin 4,
I mean, it wouldn't have made sense otherwise.
Right?
this just became the lowest point in any direct ever. If you are running this Pikmin Blue bullshit and don't show me the next Pikmin game,
If they really wanted people to download Pikmin Bloom, they should have been like, if
Yeah.
100,000 people download it right now, we won't talk about it for the next 5 minutes. But if you don't, we will. I would have downloaded it in a heartbeat.
no, I think they could have got people to download it if they would have said, "Hey, and just so you know, you're gonna get bonus content in Pikmin 4 next year, if you're an active user on Pikmin Bloom."
Okay, yeah, that's smart. You should work for them.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, obviously, I don't think that's happening. Well, maybe it will happen, but that's not an announcement they had. Continue, Eric, because this is. The more we talk about this threat, the more I'm smiling.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
This direct was so good. I don't know why people are so mad.
I was fine with it.
I really liked it. I liked it.
Like, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess aren't there. Okay, and can we talk about what was there? There was so much there. There was so much there. Like, I sit there, I'm like, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess wasn't there. No, but Tears of the Kingdom was. What's more important, new Zelda or old Zelda? We have a release date.
Yeah.
Like, we know when it's coming now. We don't have to speculate. It's going to come out. It'll get delayed. Nope. May 12th. It's happening. Lock her in. 9 months away. Let's go.
Yeah.
8 months.
Yeah.
Lock her in.
I mean, we didn't even. I don't even know if we touched on Resident Evil. Granted, it's the cloud
you know why
version.
we didn't touch on it because it is the cloud version.
But
see, I kind of skipped over that because nobody cares.
It's a good get, but I wish it was.
It's cloud. It's a bad get. Anything cloud's a bad get.
Listen. Don't hit too much on clouds because every cloud game I've had a good experience with. I think it all depends on your connection.
Did you play Village?
I did. It depends on your connectivity.
I just saw someone play Village that had
played
like
it today.
The best internet like you could ever possibly have.
Connectivity.
And it was laggy as heck.
You have to have connectivity. You have to blink every other minute so you can miss the lags. You know, if you blink too much.
That's how internet works, right?
If you just keep blinking, you won't notice the lag.
if you're blinking on the frame skips,
no,
you're good.
Just exactly. If you blink on the frame skips, then hey, there's no skips.
Cloud ruined the Kingdom Hearts games on Switch. It's gonna make the Resident Evil. Look, and here's the thing: this isn't a knock on cloud gaming.
No.
Cloud gaming in other circumstances. People think because of how cloud works on Switch that cloud gaming is just the most horrendous thing ever. I will say that you have never enjoyed a Google Stadia game, and you might laugh, but it actually works and works very well.
Dude, I'm a Google Stadia fan. I have Google Stadia and I play it every day, so it works perfectly for me.
But the Switch, I don't know if it's just
YouTube gave everyone Google Stadia for free.
It did. How am I paying for it?
Yeah, I think the Pro subscription's still a thing.
Yeah, I got the Pro subscription.
So you get extra games because of that. Yeah. And I think discount. Maybe they don't have discounts. I don't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, like cloud technology is there. It does work. It's just I don't know if it's a network card on the Switch. That could be a problem because it does use a really cheap network card. I don't know if it's just the server infrastructure that's in place for cloud games on Switch isn't very good. Whatever the case is, cloud games on Switch, while I have gotten some passable experiences like Control and Hitman 3 where I would argue passable when I played them with cloud on Switch, yeah, but every other cloud game I played on Switch has just been garbage. So, and Resident Evil Village today was garbage. Like, it's just not good.
No. So what you do is you set the tone by putting a strobe light behind you. That should help you miss the skips, right?
And also, please do not follow Eric's advice if you might have epilepsy. Please.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would hope that people that have photosensitivity
but if they're thinking
would know not
this
to do
might
that.
help,
But
this will help with my sensitivity to the lag.
Right.
By focusing my sensitivity on something else, I'm more sensitive.
Right.
This is simple. Just make sure that when you blink, leave your eyes closed just a bit longer when you blink.
Just a tiny bit longer.
Making an extra long blink, you'll be fine.
You close your eyes for a second, press the control stick forward, wait, count to 3, and then open your eyes, and you won't see any lag.
Yeah, they call it a power nap.
Power nap.
But no, seriously, I think that's why I personally didn't bring it up because it doesn't. Nobody cares. The moment they said cloud, I sat there and I thought the only reason this is being advertised is because it's Capcom, and there's a contract, and so they have to talk about it. But also, Nintendo's not stupid. Nobody cares about cloud games.
Maybe they figured it out.
No,
I don't know.
They didn't. They had a free demo. They didn't. I'm just saying they didn't. It's bad. It's bad.
I'm trying to find the light.
Oh, guys, I can play Resident Evil. Oh, it's on the cloud. Oh, is it smooth? No, it's laggy as hell and unresponsive.
I'm gonna go live 24/7 playing only cloud versions of games.
Yep, that's it, Mike. It's no longer Mike Odyssey or the sexiest man in Florida. It's
Cloud Mike.
It's the Nintendo Cloud Mike.
The sexiest man in Florida.
Yeah, I know. That's just a fact. We can't take that away.
Mike in the clouds.
Mike in the clouds.
Even if there was a new sexiest man in Florida born, they're going to be a baby for a really long time.
He's going to start. He's going to start the movement, though. We got to watch out. Mike's going to start the movement to make Tears of the Kingdom cloud only. He's gonna
Well,
start the movement.
Where do you think water comes from?
Oh, God. Here we go. Tears, water,
Clouds.
drops.
Yeah. I mean, we're flying through the clouds.
There were clouds in
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So, you know.
So I assume Zelda was your most excited thing there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know
I
that
mean,
you're a big fan. of
GoldenEye
Breath of the
too.
Wild.
I mean, that was
GoldenEye
was pretty cool. I mean, I know there's the rumors out there for sure, but
Yeah. But to actually have it
see it
announced
happen was awesome.
and have online multiplayer confirmed.
And the freaking the way they did it was freaking awesome because all of a sudden they just like had the pause menu, like the heartbeat.
And I like that they knew
God,
it was a big deal so
great.
much, so they separated it from the other game announcements for NSO. I thought that was kind of cool too.
Someone on Twitter was like, "Is the Crisis Core for the Switch going to be the cloud version?" And I was like, "No, it's the Zack version."
Yeah, you notice I didn't bring up Crisis Core. It's almost as if I don't really care about that game.
I think.
But look, Jay, do you legitimately like Crisis Core, or have you just been joking around? I have no idea.
I do.
No,
like
yeah. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. Dude, do you see like the multiple $200 Final Fantasy VII statues behind me?
No, I know that, but Crisis Core isn't the same technically.
It's
Come on.
part of the story.
It's part of the story, but it's not. I don't. No, I get that. By the way, this is a full disclosure. A lot of my audience knows I've never played Final Fantasy VII, so I have no judgments. I have no judgments against Final Fantasy. I can't say one negative thing about Final Fantasy VII. Whether it's the remake, the original, I can't.
Even if you had played it, that would still be a true statement.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
No, I really, really like Crisis Core.
Yeah.
I bought a PSP as soon as Crisis Core was announced when I was a teenager. And it's different than Final Fantasy VII. It's not strictly turn-based. It's more action-based.
Yeah, that's why I said it's not like
kinda
it's the same.
Kind of like Final Fantasy 15, I guess, where it's like, it's kind of turn-based, where like you can choose different attacks and like you have a magic menu.
Is that like? Is it kind of like?
It's definitely more action-based, and
that reminds
it's a
me.
good game. It is actually a really good game.
I've never
I'm
played
very
it.
excited about it. I'm not like joking at all.
Have you played Secret of Mana?
yeah.
Yeah.
Does it kind of work like that?
That's
Where it's
the
like,
OG one, right?
yeah, the OG and the SNES. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in that one, it's like live action, but it kind of feels a little turn based because you can like pause and go
It's
into menus.
hard to
It's like
compare
magic.
because it's 2D.
I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, the combat is the combat. It's action based, and you can go into menus and select magic.
Yeah, but I wouldn't compare it to something like Secret of Mana. I'd compare it more to something like playing as like the Dragon Quest fighter in Smash Brothers, or like almost like Devil May Cry or OG God of War,
Oh, okay.
but with turn-based options. If that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense to me. That's why I was trying to bring up a game where it would make
it's
sense
unique.
to me.
It's hard to describe. If you ever played Final Fantasy 15, that would definitely be the closest.
I have not played Final Fantasy 15.
So speaking of RPGs, did I dream this or did Grandia come to the Switch?
I think it came to the
Yeah.
Switch.
Grandia Collection. I own it physically.
There you go.
Really, right? It came to the Switch?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I remember that coming out.
Yeah, hold on.
I have to get on that because
Yeah, my Final Fantasy games, I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I played 8,
dude, 7's the best one.
10, 12.
And the 12. And
Yeah,
then
but you got to remember, the whole reason I haven't played 7, the
Uh-huh.
first 6 were on Nintendo, and then they abandoned.
That
us-
is
us
true. That's
Nintendo
true.
fans.
Here you go,
Yeah.
Sexy
I'm
Slim
literally sour. Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice.
Legit.
It's legit.
Yeah,
Too legit to quit.
I think I'm gonna get that. I need to get that.
So like, I legitimately like Final Fantasy. I don't know. I have this thing in my gut that prevents me from playing 7, and I don't know if I'll ever let myself do it. And that includes Crisis
Do it.
Core.
It's on Switch already. Do it.
I know it's on Switch. The original's on Switch. I'm well aware.
And the 8
Dude,
also.
you should play it. That game changed my life. It's the whole reason I got into video games. It's really incredible.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is the best of all of them.
I think it's the best story that's ever been presented in any form of media. Books, movies, anything.
Yeah,
And I'm not like just saying it to extra hype it up.
I've
Like,
already
I
spoiled
truly
the
in my
entire
heart
story
feel
for
that
me,
way.
though.
Yeah,
It's really special.
it's a crazy story because it really gets you in there and makes you feel sorry for the people who live in that that area. You know, the sacrifice they go through, the plants, of how much they're ruining the world, the Mako energy and everything. It really gets you in that story. So I'm really into it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I've already spoiled the entire story of that game like 4 times.
No, it's so complicated. Even if you know the ending, it's still worth it.
I know the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Every time I play, I'm like, is there a way that I can play this game for Eris not to die? I'm like, can I just save her?
Well, chat just got spoiled.
Oh,
Oh no. I don't think we have spoiler warnings on that. I
Wait,
know
what?
I know
What?
remakes out there, but remake hasn't even it's like
Wait, that-
different
So
in some
what-
ways too, so
Let me just do this mini rant real quick, and then I'm going to shut up about it. But what a lot of people don't know about the remake, even though it's been out for 2 years, is it's not a remake. It's a direct sequel. It's a sequel. It's not a remake of the first game. It's titled remake because the antagonist basically rewinds time from what happened at the end of the first game to
Yeah.
literally try to remake the events so he ends up winning.
really?
So in that way, it's very clever because you
Wait,
get
what?
to play through all the original events, but it's
Uh-huh.
a sequel, so everything happens differently. Different characters die, different characters live
What?
because the events are being remade.
Mike's
Mike's
mind is just blown. Just blown.
I'm talking about the PS1 version all this time, and I got the remake sitting there.
And you haven't even bothered to play it to see that maybe what you want to happen does happen.
I did not know that. I did not know
Yep.
that. But now I want to play it because I want to save Eris. I'll let Tifa die. I don't care.
You gotta play it.
I don't think it gets that far yet, right? I can't remember how many more releases
Correct,
they have left.
correct.
Yeah,
It does not
it's
get
not.
that
It's
far
not.
yet.
It's not that far yet. Yeah.
Yeah, because they divided the games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's clever because they're bigger games now. So, I mean,
Okay. Then I guess is this where we get to the obligatory? We have to just have a talk about Zelda portion.
let's do it.
I mean, we don't
I mean,
have
yeah.
to. We could just
I
keep
got
talking about
one.
Crisis Core.
Theories?
That's
I
what
got
Jake
my-
wants to talk about. Is Crisis Core. So
I got my theories.
you have your theories. All right, Mike. Give me your theory on the new Zelda game. What do you got?
All right. So ever since the beginning of the podcast,
Remember, I don't know the ending of Ocarina of Time, so I'm
right.
irrelevant to this conversation.
So ever
That's
since
true.
since the beginning of the podcast, and the name has been growing on me since the beginning of the podcast because I just heard it yesterday. And I believe this is the first theory I have. I believe this is the second part of a trilogy because they are let me go ahead and read to you the official Breath of the Wild, the Kingdom Battle something. What do you call it? Synopsis?
Synopsis.
Synopsis.
Simpsons.
The Simpsons, yeah. Synopsis, bud. Synopsis. I got you.
Let me go ahead and read it. No, that's not what I want.
Okay, let me just read it for you this way, okay? Because it'll make more sense. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. In addition to the vast lands of Hyrule, the latest entry in the storied Legend of Zelda series will take you up into the skies and expanded world. Listen to that word, expanded world. That goes beyond that. So you thought the land was expanded, but no, it actually goes beyond that. And let me wait. I'm lost. Wait, where was I? Beyond land, expanded worlds, beyond that. Okay, there I am. Look forward to the Link's massive adventure, starting again with the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Drops on Nintendo Switch on May 12th, 2023.
So now that I got that out of the way,
Thanks, Yzma.
so I don't believe that they are first thing they're using the same engine, right? The same engine from Breath of the Wild. What they're doing is using the same land, and they're expanding it. They're adding more areas. So not only can you go up, not only can you go down, but you can go further out, right? So they're expanding the land. I don't think they're doing all this work for just 2 games, for just one more game. I think this is part of a trilogy. So we're gonna have like our first Legend of Zelda trilogy: Breath of the Wild, Tears of the babies, and then the next one is gonna be whatever. I guess something of the something. That's my first theory of this game.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
Wait.
Wait, wrong franchise.
I think it's gonna be a trilogy. That's my first theory of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. My second thing, I think this game, Tears of the Kingdom I think we're gonna have tears as well. I think us players we're gonna have tears while playing. I think we're gonna have a major death. It might not be a permanent death, but I think we're gonna have a major death in this game, and it's gonna be a sad one. It's gonna break Nate's heart for sure. That's my theory. That's it. That's all I want to say.
I mean, I presume you're talking about Zelda.
Yeah, she's gonna die. Maybe she dies when she falls.
I mean, she's the descendant of a goddess. I'm not really too worried about her.
Yeah.
She held back Calamity Ganon on her own for 100 years. I think we're good.
Right? Something happened there.
Just say, I'm not really worried. Will she be captured? Probably. Will she vanish for a while in the game? Absolutely. I don't think she's gonna die.
I think at the end of the
I
game,
think more like Link dies before she does.
The old man dies.
Link.
The old man.
I think Link will die.
You think Link will die?
Do you think we finally
Then
get
it
to
can't
play
be a
as,
trilogy though.
do we finally get to play as Zelda?
Yeah, that's been a speculation for a while that maybe there's like a 2-world thing and you can play as Zelda, but we haven't seen any actual proof of that yet.
I think Zelda will die, but by the end of the third trilogy, they'll find a way to revert everything back in time and just restore the entire kingdom.
The very, very, very last part of the third game is, open your eyes, son of a bitch. We're back to the beginning.
So, I kind of think they'll make it a trilogy. I know some people argue it's already a trilogy because of Age of Calamity, and AJ Newman kind of sort of treats it as if it's canon. And I know some people argue, oh, it can't be canon. I'm like, it can. You got to pay more attention to the story. It just splits the timeline is all. It has the ending that leads to Breath of the Wild in the game. It's just at the very beginning. But then something else happens, so then there's like a split timeline, and it's not as if we haven't had split timelines in Zelda before, so be really weird for splitting it over a spin-off game, but hey, you know what? Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. The thing is, people get mad about it. Nintendo wrote the story for that game. It wasn't Koei Tecmo. The Breath of the Wild writers wrote that story, so they know what they're doing, and they're the ones that I presume are writing the story for this one. That being said, I do think it will be a traditional trilogy in the sense that forget the story elements or whatever they decide to do, because they did end Breath of the Wild 1. The true ending did hint that there was more, and you know, I guess you could argue that was to go to the DLC, I guess, if you want to argue that. But I think that the sales success of Breath of the Wild was so large. I know they argue, oh, we had to make the sequel because we just had too many ideas for DLC. No, you had to make a sequel because you sold over 20 million copies of a Zelda
Right.
game. And that's never happened before. And you're not going to let that go easily. You've never seen Zelda be this big ever. You're not going to suddenly abandon it.
Also, let's not forget how much time they put into the freaking world and developing the engine and shit like that. They're not just going to toss it aside for one game.
Well, I mean, they could have. If it didn't sell very well, it would have just been for one game.
Yeah.
But it blew up, and so they're doing a second one. The second one's probably going to blow up and be the second best-selling Zelda game. I don't know if it's going to have enough time, enough runway to catch up to Breath of the Wild, unless it comes out the gates even stronger, which it's possible it comes out the gate, and by the end of summer, it's already sold 15 million, and then it's all a moot point at that point, because it's already selling faster than any Switch game ever. I mean, maybe, I shouldn't say ever. Oh, it would be. In a 3-month period, I think that'd be the fastest a Switch game has sold. The fastest in a year was Animal Crossing at 30. Mm-hmm. That was in a year. That wasn't in a 3-month period. So
didn't they hit 30 within like a month?
No. Yeah. No. Animal Crossing took a year to hit 30.
You want to challenge me on that?
Sure.
But that's because of
they didn't hit 30 million in a month. It hasn't even sold that much. That would mean Animal Crossing is basically not sold since it came out.
They've sold like a couple million since then.
The games, it sold like millions per year.
All right, hold on.
It didn't sell 30 million in a month.
22.4 first month.
That's not 30 million.
It's
All
still
right,
freaking
but that's
impressive.
still a lot.
That's 22.4 million. That's crazy, man. In a month.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm seeing first 4 months total.
Splatoon,
Yeah, I was just saying.
22,
I don't think that
24.
was a month. I don't even think 22. I think that's a massive oversight. I don't think it's sold. They didn't even have that many copies printed in a month.
I think. Well, Splatoon right now is around 10 to
10 day or 11 days was 11 million. 11.77 million.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying. Sold a lot.
Yeah, I know I did.
Well, you have to.
I'm not
you
saying
have
it
to-
didn't sell a lot.
We have to.
Nobody's questioning the second best selling Switch game of all time sold a lot. We know. It sold a lot.
No, you're questioning it.
No, I wasn't questioning it.
No, you questioned.
I didn't question that Animal Crossing sold a lot. They factually sold a lot. We have the sales number.
No, it sold 50 million. It sold 50 million in 3 hours.
15 million in 3 hours.
Right. Holy shit.
But
Yeah,
but anyway, my point is, if it sells 15 million in the first 3 months, that's faster than Breath of the Wild, which makes sense because there's a lot more Switches on the market now, so it potentially could sell faster
Well, I mean, considering the fact that it outsold the Switch
at launch. Yeah,
at launch.
but it's
That's
one
true.
of
Yeah, Zelda did.
it's one of those situations that I think the sales. I mean, I don't think Nintendo ever thought it was going to sell like this. They've never had a Zelda cross 10 million, let alone 20. So as soon as that happened, I think when they started development of this game, they went into it thinking, we're going to make this a trilogy. We're going to have the second one drop on Switch, and we're going to have the conclusion drop on our next generation system. And that's just the way it's going to be. Now, I don't know what they do when they're done, because again, if it keeps selling 20 plus million, all 3 of them in the trilogy sell 20 plus million. I don't know how they think they can just, let's just go back to the way Zelda used to be.
Right.
I don't even think you can do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they already do that. They release these games. They release remakes of old games. They do 3D remakes of old games. They do everything for Zelda.
How about
as long as they keep doing games like this, they can do other Zelda games too.
Yeah,
But
just like you-
since
about
Breath
they-
of the Wild, there has not been a brand new Zelda game.
but how
What's
about
that?
There hasn't been a
They-
brand new Zelda game since Breath of the Wild.
but how about they remake?
It depends what you consider. I mean,
Are we calling
Hyrule
Cadence of
Calamity
Hyrule?
is like a prequel to Zelda.
Yeah, those are
There's
spin-offs.
been a new Zelda spin-off or side story every year. The Switch has been in existence.
Well, where's my new main game?
except for this year.
This is the longest we've gone without a new.
What do you mean?
This is the longest we've gone without a new mainline Zelda game, because we've always got top-down Zelda games in between, and we haven't gotten a new one.
Yeah, but there's still been a Zelda release. Every
There
year.
absolutely has been a Zelda
Yeah.
release that's either a spin-off or old games coming back.
Yeah, or a completely updated remake.
Sure, it's still an old game coming back.
So
I wouldn't consider it an old game.
I predict
Link's Awakening, that was around when I was 5, is not an old game.
Do you think you think the Link's Awakening on the Switch is the same game that you played on
I
the Game Boy
beat it.
Color?
it is the same game.
It
it
does
just
it really
looks
look
pretty.
like the same game?
It just looks pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the same game, same story, same character, same everything. Everything
It's the
happens
same
in the
story,
same
same
order.
character, same everything, but it's totally an updated game.
it's a new game.
It's still a top. It's still top down.
Texas man in Florida has spoken.
But here's the thing: it's still top down. Like, they didn't do it. All they did was just gave it a new coat of paint. It's the same game.
No, it's not.
It's not top down. It's isometric.
It's top down.
It's 3D.
Okay.
It's a top down Zelda game. You are a god looking down upon your people playing the game. Just because you're looking at a slight angle doesn't change it. The gameplay is the same.
That's a different thing.
I'm not-
Is this a gaming channel or not? Do we not
Pixels. I'm
fall
looking,
into the
Yeah,
you account the nuances?
the chat have my back. Is Link's Awakening on Switch a top-down Zelda game?
no.
We call Phantom Hourglass a top-down Zelda game, same angle. We call Link Between Worlds a top-down Zelda game, same angle. We saw Spirit Tracks a top-down Zelda game, same angle. It's top-down. That's how we describe that type of Zelda game, is top-down.
No. I think that's not.
And if you want to be honest, that angle we get isn't any different than the other games. If it was, how can we see character sprites? We're not seeing tops of heads when we're playing Link to the Past. We're
Charles-
seeing it at an angle.
wait what?
top down. There we go. That's how you call it. 3D top down. It's a 3D
When
top
you
down.
when you
That's
are
isometric. That's the term for that. It's called isometric.
so when you're playing when you're playing A Link to the Past, you're at the exact same angle as you are in A Link Between Worlds. It's the same
But
angle
it's
you're looking at the
3D,
world.
so it's not the same angle.
But it is. All that's happened is they added height to the things, but the height actually was still there in the
which
2D
means,
plane.
and the fact that you can see head to feet, that's a different angle.
You can see head to feet in A Link to the Past.
No, you can't. It's just like a little head. Like,
All the way down to the feet. You can literally see the feet moving.
It's just block.
Okay.
Just blocks.
Yeah,
walk.
it's just 2D sprite, but you can still see the whole character.
But 3D itself already makes it different.
Not really.
Yes, really. Then it's the same game? Then why did you ever play it on Switch?
Because why did I ever replay any game? Ever.
So just replay it on Game Boy. Why'd you
I don't have a
rebuy on
Game Boy
Switch?
anymore.
Same.
I don't have a Game Boy anymore.
Okay.
See, unlike the collector king over there, I have to sell all my stuff to get the new stuff because I can't afford it otherwise. See, I'm that guy that has to trade everything in so I can get new things.
I just get new things.
Yeah, I can't afford to just get new things, so I have to.
You should have
sell
saved
things
money
off.
and just bought a Game Boy Color with Link's Awakening or emulated it, and it would have been cheaper than a $60.
One, I
exact same
don't emulate games, so that just get that out of the way. I don't emulate games.
Fair.
I haven't in a long time. But so for me to get it, I would have to buy an old system that cost just as much, if not more, than the actual cost of the game on Switch for a system I already have.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I respect it.
Yeah. See? and guess what? I resold that copy as well and got $45 back. So I only spent $15 to play and beat it.
Hey, where did you get $45 from it?
I traded it back in within the first week.
In a GameStop?
Yeah. I got $45 first week back.
No, bro. They gave you $10 for it.
No. See, that's the thing. GameStop gives you horrible prices until you pay attention to the deals. They have trade-in deals. You can get bonus percentages on trade-ins, and the quicker you trade in a new game, the more money you're going to get back. So they had a 30% increase deal, plus it was within the first week, so I ended up getting $45 back for it. So I spent $15 to beat the game.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm just gonna move on.
By the way, I'm not saying people should do what I do, right? Like
So,
$15, just go rent it from GameFly, and you have it for a month, and you can beat it.
GameFly.
Yeah, that's still a thing. Still exists. You can still rent video games. It's just online now. Oh, some Redbox has a few games, I guess. Not for... Maybe they have Switch games now. I guess I haven't been to a Redbox in a long time. Chat, does any of you guys ever rent a Switch game from Redbox?
Do the Redbox even have Switch though?
No, they don't.
No, I don't even know if
Yeah.
they do. I know they had Xbox.
Yeah, I don't think they carry Switch.
Yeah, some Redbox... see, Miles in the chat says some Redbox do.
Depends on
No,
where.
because the way they distribute movies and stuff is in a disc holder. They don't have cartridge holders.
Yeah.
No, E-Prime, that's not right. Like, no one uses Redbox. Like, no one... Do people use Redbox? Every time I walk by a Redbox at Walmart, there's always somebody renting something.
Yeah.
So it's used. People use it because it's still cheaper. Like, people don't want to always sign up for all these services, so they'll just rent movies.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So it's still a thing that people do. I haven't done it in a long time, but I used to.
Believe it or not, if Blockbuster was still around, I would still go to Blockbuster Video and get a video and rent and then.
They're still a store.
Yeah, that's in
It's a
Oregon.
hell of a trip.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it was still around, I would still go because to me it's more the experience going to Blockbuster Video, getting your video, getting popcorn, and going back with the family and stuff. You know.
It take you back to the old school days. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's always
Drop it
exciting
off.
when I tell my kids, all right, we're having a movie night. And then it's just, all right, let's browse on demand. Well,
Yeah, it's kind of we
not the same.
get up. Everybody got their own movie. Put it on a thingy. They
Oh, you don't
scanned
like
it.
this movie? That's okay. Grab your tablet and go watch a different movie in the other room. And it's dumb.
That was the worst feeling is when you walked into Blockbuster and there was no like things behind the movie that you wanted. You're like, no.
No, I felt that way about the games, man.
I mean,
I go
that
in
too.
for the game. That's the game. And then I move the box. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Son of a bitch.
Are you kidding me right now?
Or
How long has this game been rented out?
Yeah.
Someone hasn't returned it, and it's been out for like 3 months.
or there's one behind it, but you move it and it's not the right game. You're
Or
like,
they don't put it in the
what
right
the
spot.
hell?
Anybody else used to go to Blockbuster and switch the Jack Frost
Oh, yeah.
movie
Yes.
with the Jack Frost
Mutant Killer Snowman.
R-rated horror.
Killer
show.
Snowman.
And
The
Love
Killer
that
Snowman.
movie.
The Killer Snowman one. Oh, everyone did that. Who didn't do that?
Love that
That was
movie.
hilarious. So people rent the wrong one. It's great.
Quality.
That was the ultimate troll at Blockbuster.
I cannot imagine that family just playing.
Oh, I rented a family video.
I imagine
It's the
it
killer
almost every night before
snowman.
we go to sleep.
That is something.
What the hell? Why did we rent this one? Did you check what it said on the VHS first? No. Just rented it.
So it looks like they were testing Switch games about 5 years ago, and then they completely got rid of game rentals
They got rid of them?
at 2019.
2019. Okay.
Yeah.
I never thought it was a good idea because, as someone who, I've never had this happen where I didn't return a Redbox movie and then I didn't actually pay the fee because my card got
That happened to me a
closed.
lot.
Like, literally, I have a drawer. I think it might even be down here. Wait, no, it's not. It's in the back room now. I have a drawer that has like 20 Redbox things still in it from like 5 years ago. Because we rented a bunch of movies that year, but we didn't have a bank, so we had all these prepaid cards. And like, if they can't charge a prepaid card the fee because there's no money left on it, then it's like you paid $2 and got the movie and you never got in trouble for it.
Oh, that's like fraud.
Yeah, it is fraud. It is fraud. And Redbox was getting slapped with. And by the way, you think it's bad that I have 20? I know people that literally have walls of collections of them because Redbox couldn't do anything about it. Now eventually they got smart and started scanning your ID, and they would start to block your ID from renting more. Wow. They never came after you to pay for what you missed, but they would just block, saying you can't do it anymore.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a thing a lot of people did back then, and I'm surprised Redbox even survived it, to be completely honest.
I just always got screwed and paid for it. I'm so
Yeah,
mad.
I had that
paid
happen.
like
There's
$25 for a copy of 22 Jump Street that I don't want. But I
have 22. Dude, that happened to me. I fully paid off 22
Really?
Jump Street. Yeah, they charged me for that. I was like, oh shit.
Well, there we go.
But yeah, so whatever. And now they scan IDs and they make it so that it's a lot harder to get away with that kind of stuff, which is fine. By the way, guys, it's not like I did it on purpose. I wasn't like, oh, let me rent this and I'm just not going to return it. I rented it and then I forgot.
Or your kids hit it.
I just forgot. And then I realized like 2 months later, I'm like, oh, I probably should go return this. Then I go to return it and they're like, don't even recognize it. And they just spit it back out at me. Because they've already moved on. They've already updated the system. They've already counted it as a lost item. They don't want it back.
I did that with GameFly. I had a game at I forgot to return. I just forgot to return the game, and I just got a something in the mail that stated, "Oh, would you like to keep the game?" And they will offer you the game at a discount.
Yes.
Just say
GameFly is cool
then,
that way.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I've had GameFly before. It's pretty cool. I used to rent like 3 games a month, and then if I wanted to keep one, literally they advertise, you want to keep it? Just tell us, and we'll give you a discounted rate. And you're good.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's still around, still a thing. People are obviously still using it. Enough people are still using it to keep it afloat. So
yeah, guys, just check the link below in the description to get the latest on GameFly. It's an affiliate link, so it supports the channel, and you're good.
But yeah, it's funny. Like we're talking about Link's Awakening. It's like, do I own any system at the moment that's before the current systems? And I don't think that's the case. I don't think I own anything else. I smashed my PlayStation 3 with a sledgehammer on live stream. There might be a DS with a swollen battery around somewhere, and it had a swollen battery, which is why they wouldn't buy it from me, and so that's why I still have it.
Nintendo keeps releasing new Nintendo 3DSs on their website refurbished for $99, and I just keep buying it.
That's not bad. I want to check that out.
They've done it like 6 times this year.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
So, anyone else have theories on Zelda or thoughts on the game in general?
I want it now.
Well, I mean,
my thought in theory is that the game is in May, so it gives us time for us to see an upgraded console before not a next gen Switch.
Yeah,
but
we are
I
losing
agree.
time,
They're
by the
definitely
way,
doing
to
that.
get to 100 likes, so Jake can do what he wants to do.
5 likes away from 69. Let's go.
And we're 5 likes away from
I
69.
got 4, according to mine.
Hold on, let me go drop a like. I haven't even liked my own stream.
69 likes.
Let me add one.
Way to go.
There we go. I added one. Oh, we're at 67 now. What's happening? Here, I'll switch accounts quick. I'll keep adding. I've got like 7 accounts.
Right.
people are just trolling. They're just taking likes away.
It's okay. I'll keep re-adding them until I'm out of accounts. I have so many
No,
accounts.
we blew past it.
It's okay. We gotta keep going.
We
I'm
gotta get to the 100.
trying to get to
Get
100.
Get to the hundo.
I'm trying. Anyway,
If we can.
thoughts on the Zelda game? Anyone? Anyone want to take it, or am I going to be the only one just talking for the next?
I
Well,
just
dude, you don't even know the ending to Ocarina of Time, so I don't know if you're
so listen.
Yeah, it's
listen.
an old game. Nobody cares about that game anymore.
There's two things. I predict that. No, I'm not gonna predict. I'm just gonna tell you. Next upgrade for the Switch is gonna be with Breath of the Wild 2 or the Tears of the Sky, whatever. And then
Tears of this guy? What?
Every time he talks, it's a new title.
Tears of the Baby next door.
Yeah, as long as it's still Tears, not Tears of the Baby. So I mean, we're good there.
That's the first one. That's the first one, and I believe that.
I didn't know we were making baby jokes today.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
I'm
why-
not going. I'm
don't know
not going
comfortable
there.
I have a
I
baby,
am definitely
I have a
not
baby
going
niece
there.
now. I got to maybe keep it a little away.
So listen, this game will end in the cliffhanger.
I mean, yeah.
25 away from
Literally Link hanging off a cliff.
people got mad at me when I said I wanted Breath of the Wild to end with a cliffhanger, and they're like, "No, we don't like cliffhangers." I'm like, "But it sets up the next game."
It does.
Exactly. It makes it more. It makes it more exciting.
That way, you don't even have to question when you get to the end. There will be a next game because there's a cliffhanger.
But what if they're working on both games at the same time?
Yeah, I don't think so. It would be cool if that was the case, but I mean, the reason, getting back to why haven't we gotten a top-down Zelda? Because the top-down Zelda team got combined with the Breath of the Wild team back during development because they needed the extra help, and then they went on to make Breath of the Wild 2, and all they did was make the team even bigger. So they just don't have the extra manpower. That's why Grezzo is the one that did like the Link's Awakening top-down. Grezzo also made the last original top-down game in Triforce Heroes. So yeah, they've kind of hit the point where the team there's no way they'd have to double the team size, or not really double, but they would have to have more.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee there'll be DLC for this game, so they'll immediately just go into DLC next. I mean, if there isn't DLC, I would be very
Kind of surprised they already hadn't.
Yeah, it's
haven't
probably gonna be all
announced
top down.
Just completely different.
He's getting so mad at me for calling it top-down Zelda instead of isometric Zelda.
But you know,
Top-down describes a gameplay style.
Listen, you were talking about that Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was not the only open world game. You mentioned the first game,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So how about they actually make the first game using that engine? They remake the first game using that engine and bring it.
I just don't think it would be that popular. But it's a cool idea, though. I feel like Breath of the Wild is that.
I don't want to see top-down games brought back in that style. I if you're going to give me top-down, bring it into a 3D world. Don't give me isometric. Oh, there's 3D sprites now. Okay, but it still plays like a top-down Zelda. I want Ocarina of Time, that bitch. Then bring it back. That'll make me happy. Bring it into a third-person perspective. Let's go. Like, make it actually... Final Fantasy VII remake this thing. I want it to be new and fresh. I don't need to just... Oh, it has prettier visuals now. Okay, but the gameplay's... But it's prettier visuals. Okay, but the gameplay's the same. I that's the thing that makes me not buy a bunch of remakes is when the gameplay is just the same thing.
See, I actually disagree. I love it when they only enhance the graphics and nothing else. Because here's the thing. Good graphics does not mean good game. We all know this, right?
Sure.
But if the game is already good, better graphics make it even better. Like, they enhance the experience. So, like, that's why if you own a movie on VHS, you'll buy the DVD. Or if you own the DVD, you'll buy the Blu-ray. Are you getting a better movie? No, but you're getting better quality. That's like why was a fan
just
of The Last of Us Part 1. Like,
that's just
if you could take your favorite video game of all time and, or one of your favorite games of all time and just enhance the graphics, why wouldn't you? Like, and get that version. So, like, of course, I always want, like, enhancements to gameplay if they're going to remake a game or, like, make it from the ground up. But if it's, like, a game that's near and dear to your heart that you just absolutely love, like, and you love that gameplay, why mess with it? Like, I think it's also really cool to just have the graphics be improved. Like, I like that.
I'll give you an example. Zelda 2 is my second favorite Zelda game of all time. I absolutely do not want that enhanced with new visuals.
And guess what? If they ever did, you could still have the original. It's not going anywhere.
But I see where Nate Nate's point is because Nate doesn't like to play the same exact game twice. So if they actually remake it, they like
Give me a reason to revisit it.
Final Fantasy remake, then it'll give him a new experience playing
Like,
the game.
I'll give you an example. You talked about movies and DVDs, right? Like, oh, I watched the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS, and now you can get it on 4K Blu-ray or whatever. I don't feel enticed to watch it because it's in 4K Blu-ray. I've already watched it on VHS. I'm good. I don't need to rewatch it. There's nothing new happening.
People, and that's totally cool. Some people like to replay games.
I get that. Okay, I get that people like to replay games, and they make it available on NSO, so you can replay it there.
And you know what? The same person that likes to replay games would probably like to replay it with better graphics if it was an option, as opposed to just playing it on NSO.
But would they like to play it with better graphics if it's an option, or would they like to see it remade from the ground up instead?
Both.
Probably that, but it's a lot less effort to do better graphics.
Why do I care what the effort is? We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company and a game that's going to sell 5 to 10 million copies. Why am I worried about more effort? Put more effort in your games.
I would play them either way, both.
Exactly, Mike. It's way less effort for the company to just make better graphics, and if that's something that's available to you,
All Things Mario, I replayed it. Hey, All Things Mario.
Some people will like it.
I replayed Link's Awakening because I was hoping it had differences.
Okay, and some people are just excited for the enhancements.
No, I think a lot of people that were excited for Link's Awakening were people that never played the first one.
Look at The Last of Us Part 1. Literally not a single change to the gameplay, and
I never played the first one.
sold over 1 million copies.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a popular IP. It's going to sell.
So clearly, the public, there's people that like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying there aren't people that like that. But when I'm giving my opinions, it's not based on those people. I don't care about those people. Those people already get what they want.
Yeah, but you're saying the company shouldn't do it because you don't want it. There's people that do want it. Just like those farming sim games. Maybe you don't like them all, but you recognize that some people do. I'm the same thing.
No. I didn't say that those things shouldn't exist. I'm saying that there's something they should be doing instead.
Okay.
That I think people would want even more. Like, I think people would want remakes, like remade from the ground up, more than they would want just enhanced visuals.
I think they should
That's
remake
your opinion.
this one.
Well, yeah, it is my opinion. But also, every time that companies do that and they remake it from the ground up, it tends to sell even more than games that just get a new coat of paint.
Sure, and that takes them a lot more resources. So maybe, all right, if you want them to remake games from the ground up, that's cool. And then you won't get the sequel to Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Like,
why can't we have both? Why can't we have both? Is there a reason a multi-billion-dollar company? Is there a reason a multi-billion-dollar company that's the richest company in Japan can't make 2 Zelda games at the same time?
I think
but then they would have to take resources away from other.
Why?
Stuff.
Why can't they just hire more people? Why can't they hire more people?
There would have to be. And the reason, and the way they're making all those stuff, that's the reason why there's not a new F-Zero.
Hire more people.
They have to pick and choose.
Well, but why? If it's going to sell enough copies to justify making it, why do you?
I don't understand your question. Why? They don't have unlimited resources. They have a specific amount of employees that work for them.
So companies never expand.
There's no employees that work for Nintendo developing games that are sitting on their hands and doing nothing.
No. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is
everyone's doing something, so they have to choose what they do.
But what I'm saying is other companies expand. They just make the teams bigger so they can make more games.
They expand. They still have a limited amount of resources. No matter how much they expand, there's always going to be a limit. And as they've expanded, they've crushed it on Switch. They've brought more games than ever. Like, so they are expanding, but they still have to pick and choose what they do.
Okay. But in this so-called expansion, well, I agree that Switch has gotten more games than pretty much any platform before from Nintendo because all their development teams are now making for one platform instead of 2. A lot of the games that we talk about, when you go through it, are either ports, remasters, or made by third-party companies Nintendo hired to do it. So their actual output from themselves hasn't actually gotten bigger. They've actually been making less games internally than they were before. It just feels like we're getting more because they're all on one platform. And that makes sense because obviously, as an example, Pokemon is no longer made on this tiny little 3DS with limited power. They have more power. There's bigger expectations. It takes a little bit longer to make games, etc. But it's not just Pokemon because Pokemon's obviously gotten pretty regular support. But
Pokemon's not really made by Nintendo. It's made by Game Freak, which only ever makes Pokemon games. That's all
I,
they ever.
I understand that, and the team that makes Zelda only ever makes Zelda. They don't make anything else.
Okay, but that's also different because like the team that makes Zelda gets help from other studios as well. Like the team that makes Xenoblade also works on Zelda.
Sure, Monolith Soft has a dedicated team for Zelda only. Yes, they have literally a portion of their studio that only works on Zelda now.
Right.
My point, the point I'm making, this is like the same point that people talk about, like with Game Freak. Oh, why can't Game Freak just hire more people? Well, they can. They just choose not to. There's a choice being made. Nintendo is choosing to not expand. If I can watch the Hellblade studio go from 20 people to now they have over 150 since Microsoft bought them, just because Microsoft said, "You want more people? Let's hire more people."
So you think Nintendo is a smaller company now than they were 6 months ago, than they were a year ago?
I didn't say that. I never said they're a smaller company.
You just said they're not expanding, so that's exactly.
No, I'm saying they're not expanding as much as they could, if they wanted to.
Okay, now you just changed it, but yes, okay.
Yes, they've expanded the Zelda team, but they also could get Grezzo.
They expanded their entire company.
You're missing my point. If they wanted to make 2 Zelda games at once, they can. That's my point. We get multiple Mario games made at once. Why can't we have multiple Zelda games made at once?
You sure about that? We haven't had a Mario game in a while.
Well, no, because the team actually was working on Bowser's Fury. So you can't just say that they didn't do anything, because Bowser's Fury was an entirely fresh Mario. Attached to, obviously, a port. But it was... The engines aren't even the same between the games. So it was clearly an experimental new Mario. And
yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I just disagree. But I respect it.
I mean, it's fine to disagree. There's nothing wrong. We obviously disagree. No surprise. There's always going to be something every podcast that we disagree with. That happens every time. And for some reason, it's always around Zelda. But like in this case, it's just personal preference. Like I think Nintendo could not only work on Breath of the Wild 2, but also remaster or remake a game from the ground up. And who says they have to do it? They can hire somebody else to do it. Like they hire other companies already. Grezzo literally was the last one to make a top-down Zelda game, and Nintendo doesn't own them. So it can happen is what I'm trying to say. Like they could have brand new top-down Zelda games come out. They've proven it. Grezzo made Triforce Heroes. Grezzo can make an original top-down Zelda game, but they just don't.
Yeah, Triforce Heroes. That's a really good game. Good point.
Triforce Heroes was directed by someone on the Zelda team, so it wasn't even Grezzo's idea.
Yeah, no, it's a great Zelda game. They should do that more.
You're missing my point. The direction of all games are decided by the director, not by the development team. So the director was from Nintendo, so it was just not a direction that people appreciate. By the way, I thought Triforce Heroes was pretty good, but that's neither here nor there. I know that the general consensus is people don't like that game. It's kind of like saying that Metroid, that one Metroid Prime.
Other M.
No, Metroid Prime, the one on 3DS, that people got mad about.
There is no Metroid Prime on 3DS.
There's a game called Metroid Prime on 3DS. You might want to look it up. People got mad
about
about
it. Hunters on the DS?
No. Chat. What was that Metroid Prime game that came out? It wasn't actually a Metroid Prime game. Federation Force. There it is. Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And people shat all over that game. It's actually a pretty good game. It's just not what people wanted it to be.
I can't talk to that one because I didn't play it, but I definitely didn't like Triforce Heroes.
No.
I did play that one with 3 people, but it was just like so, I guess like bare bones, like so vanilla for a Zelda game. That's why I didn't like that one.
Sure, I understand that. Did you like Four Swords or Four Swords Adventures at all?
Yeah, I played that back in the day too.
Yeah, with friends, obviously. I mean, you could play it single player.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can play it single player, but a little different. I think Four Swords Adventures had a bit more content, to be honest. But anyways, I don't know. They're also played completely different. Like the puzzle solving in Triforce Heroes was a lot different than in, and you couldn't throw people off and kill them. A lot of people got really annoyed at online players doing that. Anyways, but neither here nor there. I'm just kind of saying that there's no reason that we couldn't get both. Like what I want, I don't think is asking out of the realm. It's like saying they can't have Final Fantasy VII remake while they're also making the next Final Fantasy game, which they're clearly doing both.
Well, I don't know. I guess I prefer it this way because if you were to make both, you would take people away from working on the mainline Zelda game, or you would take people away from working on their projects. Because like I said, their resources aren't infinite. And I would rather have the best quality on the mainline game.
And
let me acknowledge your point, because you did say they could hire another studio to do it, but then I don't know. we've seen in the past that like those don't quite come up to par.
But how many times have we allowed that to happen? Like
I think a lot.
Bandai Namco basically rebuilt New Pokemon Snap, and it was fantastic.
I actually, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I
Oh,
replayed the regular Pokemon Snap multiple times a year
and you
because
like
you
that
can beat
better.
it one night. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
I
a short
tried
game.
so hard to like the new one, and it's beautiful looking, but there's something about it. It's not as fun to me.
That is definitely an unpopular.
That's one
opinion.
example, though. I get your point.
But yeah, but a lot of people feel like it's a pretty quality experience. So like I was just kind of throwing out an example of, hey, here's where Nintendo did hire someone.
No, I get your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So it's just one of those situations. I mean, even Grezzo, like, yeah, okay, Triforce Heroes. Oh, boo. Okay, well they did Link's Awakening, and no one seemed to be mad about that. So why not let them have a crack at an original game instead of just doing what remaking old games? Like, hey, how about making original Zelda and have someone from your team direct it rather than someone from us? So we're not trying to force gimmicks or force this weird thing into it. Just let you actually go at it.
Well, oversaturation is a thing too.
How
You know what I mean?
are we
And if they start
oversaturated on
letting
new Zelda
outside
games?
studios in on Zelda, it can be, I don't know.
Are we oversaturated on Pokemon?
I mean, depends who you ask. I don't think so.
I mean, I bring it up because right now, without them making brand new top-down Zelda games anymore, we are now waiting 5 to 6 years between new Zelda games.
Between new Zelda mainland.
Yes, and we used to get them all the time. We used to get them like every couple of years. There was a mainline Zelda game coming out. And now, since Breath of the Wild, well, really,
How many years was it
Breath
between
of the-
Ocarina of Time and or Majora's Mask and
Majora's Mask was like
Wind Waker?
Majora's Mask
and Wind Waker.
Majora's Mask was 2 years. Wind Waker was 3, and in between we still had Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, and Minish Cap.
Okay, what about Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild?
That was 5 years, but we had a Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes.
Okay, but I would not consider Triforce Heroes a mainline Zelda game.
But it is.
But it's not the same quality. Would you rather have more games like that?
Well, you're ignoring that we got a Link Between Worlds as well.
No, I'm not ignoring that.
Well, you brought up the one you didn't like, but ignored the other one that came out that would have kept that 2 to 3 year cycle.
But so I'm comparing mainline console games. They don't really have a handheld anymore. The Switch is like a console.
So we shouldn't get top-down Zelda games brand new anymore?
I think we should get console quality Zelda games as part of the mainline.
So you don't think there's a point to top-down Zelda anymore?
No, I can see there's a point to it.
Like,
But,
I'm bringing that up because that's classic Zelda.
have? I think that when it gets to a point where like
I don't. Why does it have to be a
really,
rather?
really want that again, that Nintendo will make it.
But why does it have to be a rather? They didn't give us side-scrolling Mario again and stop making 3D Mario. We got both.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't we get that with Zelda? It's easier to make top-down Zelda. They don't need a huge team.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
I mean, basically, the only reason it went away in general was because they took the small team and threw it at Breath of the Wild, and because these games are so large, they just haven't stopped to try to do something else. But that was kind of my point, where like they could start taking a couple employees and throwing it at that, and start hiring more and more for that team as the project gets bigger. You only need really a couple established employees to really get that going, and you can slowly build that team up.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I agree.
Yeah. Now, obviously, a full-on 3D remake. I mean, like Final Fantasy VII remake, that takes a full team. It's gonna be like the same size as Breath of the Wild to do something like that. I'm not stupid. I know that's asking them to double the team size.
I get that's not what you're saying, for sure.
Yeah, it's more like a slow build-up. It's not like, oh, tomorrow, 300 new employees. Now you're making a new Zelda. Like, that's not how it works, right? It's always a slow build-up to prepare for that inevitability where you want to expand. And that's, I guess, what I'm hoping they do. Maybe they are already doing it, and we just don't know. That's always a possibility. But that's kind of what I'm hoping.
We haven't heard anything from the leakers, so.
Bringing them up.
Bringing it all the way back around.
To be fair to leakers, I've been covering Zelda, or I've been covering just rumors in general forever. Pretty much every rumor and leak that ever comes out about Zelda is not true. Because I don't know what it is, but at least from what I've been told, they're so tight-lipped about that franchise around Nintendo that even Nintendo employees don't even know what the hell's going on with it if you're not working on the game directly.
Right.
So it was really surprising that Jeff Grubb even knew there'd be a trailer with a title reveal, because like that stuff doesn't even come out. That's why we were all surprised when Breath of the Wild 2 was announced back in 2019, because like that stuff doesn't leak. Zelda just doesn't leak. So it's really surprising. You know, the port, by the way, the ports and stuff have leaked. Like Skyward Sword HD leaked. Like some of that stuff does, but that's always been done by like third-party companies, and I feel like that's probably how it gets out.
Yeah.
Versus the stuff made internally. So yeah, it's weird. It's a weird situation. So that's why I said they could be working on it internally. We wouldn't even know right now. I don't think it would even come out on Switch at this point, but that'd be something.
Someone in the chat said that they've never played Triforce Heroes and they don't know if it's worth it or not.
I could tell right now,
it, but you have to play with 2 other people. It is miserable trying to do it by yourself, switching off, doing the puzzles. It's just like a chore. But with 2 other people, it can be fun. It's like I didn't mean to like, you know, completely like shit on it, but just it doesn't have quite the same quality as other Zelda games, I guess. But like it is a fun game if you're playing it like as intended with 2 other people.
Like you can, to be clear, you can beat the game single player, and I did that. I also played multiplayer.
No, you can,
yeah. And I'll tell you right now, there's like no one playing it online, so don't even try to play with randoms because no one's really playing it anymore. But if you have friends, what's cool is you'll need 2 copies of the game, because you can have one person do a download play to get in. But yeah, you'll need at least one other friend that has a copy, and obviously you'll need 3 of them to get the full enjoyment. You can play with just 2 players, by the way, but then everyone's fighting over the control of the third. It's one of those games that just go watch some videos on it. There's literally the whole game's out there. Just go watch some trailers and videos on it. And if it interests you and you got some friends that maybe want to try it out, cool. Otherwise, I kind of agree. If you're going to play it solo, probably would skip it.
Yeah.
But also, if there's any other Zelda game that you haven't played, especially any other 3DS or DS one, play those over it.
You can skip Phantom Hourglass.
Let's face it, though, playing Triforce Heroes, it just evolves into throwing people off of cliffs or off the side of the maps. Eventually, I mean, everybody just starts chucking each other, and it's
that's
like
that's what online was.
Oh yeah,
there was always
it was
one
just,
person just ruining it and throwing people off. But I'll say this: Triforce Heroes is not my least favorite Zelda game. So,
what is, out of curiosity?
Phantom Hourglass.
Really?
Hate that game.
Let me
reel it back. I don't hate the game. Hate's a very, very strong word that I don't think really applies.
No, it's your least favorite.
Yeah, it's my least favorite. Like, there's very few games that I would say I actually hate. There's games I think are bad. I don't think Phantom Hourglass is a bad game.
What is it about, like, the gameplay that you didn't like?
The entire premise of returning to the same end dungeon and going back through it over and over and over again, even though I've already beat.
That's super valid. Yeah,
I
get
that turned me off because that's a central theme to the whole game.
It is. Yep.
And
you're right.
That central theme, the boss fight's incredible. Love them. Thought it was great. Some of the one clever puzzle where, you know, I'm not gonna give away what the puzzle is, but you have to close it, and you get frustrated, you can't figure it out, then you close your system, open it, and that's how you like brilliant. Like, there's some cool stuff in it, but ultimately,
I actually really agree with you with that gripe. But
yeah, that central thing to it, just I can't.
Below Triforce Heroes, but I do understand.
Yeah, I just can't. It just there's the first couple times cool. I think it's called Temple of the Ocean King, if I remember right. But after that, it's like, nope. This is just I'm retreading over, and it feels like every other hour I'm retreading, and I can't. This is just boring.
Right.
It's not fun to me. Spirit Tracks, ironically, had the same thing where you revisit, except they fixed it. You didn't have to replay any of the stuff you already beat, so you were always getting to a new level. So Spirit Tracks actually fixed my number one problem with it. Now, some people don't like it because they don't like the train versus the water. Whatever, I don't really care. I really enjoyed Spirit Tracks. Plus, for the first time ever, Zelda was your sidekick, and I thought that was kind of cool.
What's your for everyone here, actually, what's your favorite, like, top-down Zelda and your favorite 3D Zelda? My favorite top-down's Link's Awakening on the Switch.
It's legit. Link's Awakening is really good.
Yeah, it's top-down.
Yeah.
On the Switch.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. It's a really good game.
No, seriously, what's your favorite, though, guys?
I mean, I've only played a little bit of Link's, like, for top-downs. I've only really played little bit of
You-
of Link's Awakening.
You've done Triforce Heroes as well.
Triforce
with me.
Heroes,
You helped me
yeah.
with the walkthrough.
Yep, I did.
You also. I don't know if I made you play any of the other ones.
No,
That's
I
right.
think-
You only
yeah,
played them
right.
if I made them.
Yeah, right. Not into it as much as what I am now. Back in the day, but no, even the little bit that I played of Link's Awakening was probably my favorite top down,
Okay.
just because
There you go.
it was awesome.
Same one
And then obviously Breath of the Wild for 3D.
for 3D. Yeah.
So that's mine.
Mike, what about you, bud?
What was the question again?
Favorite,
favorite-
top down
Yeah, go
Zelda.
ahead, Nick,
Favorite 3D Zelda.
Link's Awakening, the latest one, not the first one, but the one that they remade. That would be my favorite one.
Okay. And what's your favorite 3D?
And-
like
Favorite what?
your favorite 3D, like main console Zelda. I don't even want to say that. Favorite 3D Zelda. It's weird. This
Yeah,
is just,
favorite 3D. That was my question.
So far, Breath of the Wild.
did you give us your favorite 3D, Jake?
No, so my favorite 2D is actually A Link to the Past.
Okay.
Part of that might be nostalgia.
It happens, yeah.
But that's my
Nostalgia's not a
favorite.
bad
And then
thing.
For the longest time, my favorite 3D was Ocarina of Time, and I actually when I first got Breath of the Wild, I really didn't like it, and I dropped it like 10 hours in, and I thought Ocarina of Time was so much better. And then a couple years later, I came back to it, and I got past that point. I restarted from the beginning, got past that point. And what I will say is this: Ocarina of Time hooks you so much faster and so much stronger than Breath of the Wild, in my experience. However, once I got past that point and I started to fall in love with Breath of the Wild, it hooked me deeper than Ocarina of Time ever could, and I believe that Breath of the Wild is my favorite 3D Zelda game.
Damn.
A lot of the things I like about Ocarina of Time, actually Breath of the Wild does better. Is what I found out when I finally got past it.
Sure.
What about you, Nate?
Well, my favorite 3D Zelda is Breath of the Wild. Everyone knows it's my favorite game of all time. So clearly that's up there. And before that, it was Zelda 2. And Zelda 2 is a weird one because you would say, well, that's your favorite top-down. Well, it's more of a side-scroller. And there's a top-down exploration of the map.
Right, it goes back and forth.
But
It's like an RPG too.
yeah, it was like an experimental game for the time, and I get it, and I really really enjoy it. But
When it came out, it was highly acclaimed, so much more than
yes.
Zelda 1. It was only
Yes.
years later that people started like crapping on it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
At the time, it was amazing.
yeah, and there's a lot of skill with the combat, and it's just I really like it a lot. I still like it a lot. But I also don't want to remake because I know they're going to make it easier because that's what people want. They want it to be more accessible. I know it feels weird. I'm having that Dark Souls mentality. You can't make my game easier. I'm like, you make it easier. It's whatever. The original game still exists. So I hesitate to call that top down because it doesn't play like a top down. It plays more like a side scroller with traditional RPG exploration
Right.
for the era. So I'm gonna kind of say that's sort of an outlier. So I'm not gonna count that one for top down. Without that counting, it's probably gonna end up being Spirit Tracks. It was Link's Awakening DX until then. And the only reason it was DX before that over the original Link's Awakening is because they added a new dungeon. So it was the same game with color. I didn't really care about the color, but they added more content. So it just kind of by default. But Spirit Tracks overtook it, and I replayed. So when I go back to replay games, because I know it's a common thought, I never replay games. I never replay the entire game. I never go start to finish when I'm replaying anymore. It doesn't mean I don't load it up. Like Secret of Mana, how many times have I booted that thing back up and replayed it? I just don't need to replay the whole thing because the driving force for me to complete is not knowing what's going to happen. As soon as I know what's going to happen and it's not something with multiple endings, then I don't really have that same drive. It's more like I'll just replay to get a feel, or I'll replay my favorite dungeon in the game or my favorite boss fight.
I get that. For me, sometimes like if I haven't played a game in years and years where it's kind of fuzzy, I remember it. Like there's this podcast host that I feel like didn't quite remember the ending to Ocarina of Time. Like then I'll go back and I'll like actually like play it from the beginning and experience it again.
The funny thing is, I did fully replay it when they brought it to 3DS. I replayed the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason that ending, by the way, these refer to me, guys, for those who don't know, I messed it up on a podcast. I swore the ending was something different than it really was. Then I looked it up and I was like, oh, man, I just got owned. And I was pretty stern on it for about a half hour.
Yeah,
And Jake just kept, he just stood there and took it. And he was just like, you're just wrong.
No, that wasn't me. That was Mike, I think.
For me?
Yeah, wasn't that Mike that you were talking about the ending with Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, it's possible.
I made fun of you for it one time when I came on, but
I don't think it was Jake. That was like the week after.
I have never finished Ocarina of Time.
Mike went up made that argument.
No, it was Andre.
Oh,
I was gonna say back then. I don't even know if I was talking to Mike back then.
Yeah, it was Andre.
Waiting for the remake to play it.
Yeah. Andre's Restart was the guy I had on all the time back then.
Yeah, I wouldn't have sat there. You know me.
Yeah. No, Andres was pushing back.
But the thing is,
Jake, like, you came swinging a week later, I think.
Yeah, you might have been on the next week and just never let me live it down since. But like the thing is, my memory of Ocarina of Time is fine. I went back and watched all the cutscenes after that because clearly I'm forgetting something, and everything was exactly like I remember it, except for that one section. I kept wondering why was I misremembering it so much, and I think it was just a couple of things that I really, really hate about the game. Again, the term hate, shouldn't use it, but Ocarina of Time's not in my top 10 Zelda games. It's just not. I don't even think it's in my top 12 anymore. As more Zelda games come out, it keeps going further down the list. By the way, it doesn't mean I dislike the game. Literally, I wouldn't be a YouTuber today without Ocarina of Time. That game drove me into making fan websites, which ultimately led to me doing YouTube many years later. So there's no, you just don't like it. You're just a hater. No, I actually really like the game. It's why I'm here. But I just don't like. It's not really a dislike. I just don't. I still don't like how the game ends. And because of that, which people love the ending, I don't. So because of that, it's one of those situations where I force myself to, over time, to make the ending seem like it's worse than it really is. Because people keep trying to justify, and every time I give my opinion, I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad. You're just wrong. It should be higher up. And over time, I just kept altering the ending in arguments to make people agree with me when there was no point to do that. People don't have to agree with me. It's like, it's totally fine. But that was like my immature mind because I started altering the ending when I was 13 and people started telling me, because I'm like, Majora's Mask came out and I was like, dude, this game's so much better. Oh, you're so wrong. And then I would just start altering the ending as a teenager. And even though I replayed it on 3DS, it was just one of those, it just washed right over me. Didn't even, probably wasn't paying super attention to the cutscenes anymore because I knew what was going to happen. And yeah, it was a really, really weird thing I did with that particular game because people kept trying to tell me, why is it not in your top 10? And I'm like, now when people ask me, it's pretty simple. I just enjoy other Zelda games more. It's not that I dislike it.
Yeah, honestly, it's not like necessarily dragging on Ocarina of Time, but it's like just saying how many great Zelda games there are.
Yeah, it's more like a credit to the Zelda series being as great as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the way I say it now. But when I was younger and a lot more immature, it was always like, no, you have to have a justifiable specific reason because I was like deep in the Zelda fan base. So, and it was funny because no one corrected me on altering it, and it obviously got to its worst alteration on that podcast, which was really weird that I even altered it again. I don't know. I still have some of that. Maybe, you know what it is? I felt like I was arguing with my old boss, a little known guy who runs Zelda Dungeon, who I really dislike, and it felt like for a moment I was arguing with him. And so I would come up with any reason to prove him wrong because I just don't like that.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it was just like a flashback moment in the podcast because I remember having an argument with him, and it was over something entirely different. I don't think I've talked to him in years. I thought about inviting him on a podcast, but I'm like, I don't even know. I don't think my audience will leave him alone. Some of my audience know the story there, so it would probably be a bad idea to bring him in front of them. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's only that Zelda game too. I kept thinking, like, how many other Zelda games am I wrong about? So I literally after that podcast, I took a notebook and I started going game by game. All right, let me write down the story of each of these games, like the summary points, the bullet points. I'm not going to write down every little thing, but like the big stuff. And then I went back and watched all the cutscenes to see if I was wrong. And literally, I'm right on this, right on that, right. only the ending of Ocarina of Time. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Ocarina of Time is such a pivotal game in the Zelda timeline that for me to mess up the ending that bad, I literally to this day have not given myself back my Zelda fan card. I took it away that day.
You got it back. You got it.
No. It's not bad because I used to literally I used to do it for a living. I used to write Zelda theories for a living and have this deep knowledge and I just everything Zelda all the time. I don't say I knew more than anybody. There's a lot of people with deep Zelda knowledge, but I was one of them. And to mess up a fundamental part that created a three-way split in the timeline, it's like an unforgivable sin for me, knowing where I used to hold my own esteem on Zelda knowledge. That being said, every time that story comes up, I think the last person that came up to was HMK. He literally messaged me afterwards and he said, "What is wrong with you? How? I know it's not in your top 10. How do you forget? How? I am ashamed." I'm like, be ashamed. No one's more ashamed than me, so don't worry about it. But, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, to just get back to the question, it's Spirit Tracks and Breath of the Wild, I suppose. I think, am I the only one that says something different? Did all of you guys say Link's Awakening and Breath of the Wild?
I think so. No. Jake had a different.
I said those two.
Yeah, Jake,
I said a Link to the Past.
Jake, yeah, you said Link's Awakening like initially to kick things off, but then when I went back to you, you said Link to the Past. Okay, I think. See now am I misremembering what just happened 10 minutes ago?
Shit.
At least I can rewind and look. And Mike, you said Link's Awakening and Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, it's because the only two games that I've actually finished.
They've actually finished. Yeah. Okay. I hear you on that.
And I didn't even finish Link's Awakening.
No.
So.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I probably should have just gave you my copy instead of selling it.
Yeah.
Anyways. Can't remember. I used the money for something else.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's generally why you sell your games.
So, just to kind of get back, and we're talking about Zelda. We obviously have the new Zelda coming out. Is anyone surprised it's coming out in May?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense for me because, of course, we're getting an upgraded Switch. That's perfect time.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
I don't know if we're getting an updated Switch. I'm gonna have to see what Santa's Hunter says. All right, I need a valid source on
Yeah,
that.
you got to go find her. She's been missing since July 19th. You got to go on a hunt.
Yeah.
Got to go hunt. She's off on a fight. Silex Hunter and Samus Hunter might have took each other out. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm not calling it a Switch Pro. I said
I think the only reason I'm surprised is because they didn't announce a March game yet, and they usually have a pretty big title in March. And right now, there's not one. Everything's in February. February's packed.
Yeah, and Fire Emblem's in January.
Yeah. But they usually end the fiscal year.
One
with
thing
a
that was
bigger game.
interesting is that for the first time, Nintendo rendered some images from Tears of the Wild in the trailer and stuff in 4K. They haven't done before. That makes me want to speculate.
The screenshots, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So the ones that I posted on my website were only 1080p, but then I went to the press site and I saw, the originals are 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Wet.
No, they could just be bull shots and not mean anything. And yeah, they're probably developing in 4K behind the scenes, but I just it makes me go, yes, please.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I can't. I'm not gonna go like, but that means there's new hardware. It's like because someone's gonna go.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna go out there and be like, you just forgot about this random Kirby Star Allies. They also did 4K screenshots for that, and it didn't mean anything. Because like I don't have the perfect memory on all of the official resolutions on every game that's come out.
Right, yeah.
But it is interesting, obviously. It's always interesting.
That's all I was saying. It's just interesting.
It's a fun note. And I know Game Over Jesse today, he re-rendered the raw footage through an AI program into 4K just so he could zoom in and look at some of the finer details without it getting blurry. And dude, it looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I mean, I know this isn't a perfect 4K, it's an AI re-render, but dude, Nintendo, man. I'm good with Switch as it is, guys. Like, I'm not sitting here saying I need a new Switch, but I'm not gonna.
I do.
I'm not gonna sit there and deny that it would be nice to have one. I mean,
Right.
I got this giant TV our guests are on, and they're in higher resolution than my Switch games right now. So, it would be cool if I could at least get that on my giant TV. It'd be nice, but for live stream purposes, it really won't matter because I'd only ever be on a 1080p thing for live stream. But at least for now, YouTube does support 4K. I've just never really gotten it to work.
Yeah, and I mean, you're opening yourself up to if you're live streaming being laggy if you're trying to.
Yeah, because you
Even
also
if you're
you also
fine, people watching it are probably gonna have to downgrade anyway.
yeah.
Make the stream clear.
Yeah, I mean, on YouTube it's nice because everyone can select quality settings, which is fine. So those that can stream it in 4K, great. Why not have it as an option? The only negative on YouTube that I saw to it is for the stream lag. So for those who don't know, on YouTube, and this is really all streaming platforms, there's latency, and it's basically how long from the time I say something do you guys hear it. I see your chats in real time, but you could see people reacting to something you said, but it was like a minute ago or 2 minutes ago, and you've already moved on, and then you're trying to bring it back. And when you stream in 4K, you can't go with ultra low latency, which makes it like under 30 seconds. If it's like normal latency, I think it hits almost 2 minutes on normal latency, and that's what 4K is. Now, when you're playing a game, it might not matter so much especially if you're playing a single player game, but. Yeah, who knows, guys? I'll say this. I will say because I do have a 4K capture card. I got to see if it does 4K 60. I'm not sure if it does that, but if it doesn't, I'll get one that does. If a Switch Pro does come out that does 4K at launch for this game, I will try to make the launch weekend stream be a 4K stream if I can. I think it's only fair if we're going to show off the new hardware that I actually show it off in the stream. But that's if. Right now, I have no reason to. Well, I'll probably verify if I get 4K 60 out of this card. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I can't get 4K 60.
83 likes. We're pushing 100.
83. I see 82. Either way, let's get to 100 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. You guys have anything else you want to talk about before we head out of here? I mean, Mike's already. I don't know what Mike's doing right now. He's I don't need to know. Florida, right? I really don't need to know. This is how he stays sexy. So
exactly. What's it called? So Octopath Traveler 2 we didn't really talk about.
Yep.
I'm excited for that, but when I saw that, what it made me really excited for and also kind of disappointed, we got so many Square Enix games, right? Including a Final Fantasy game, no Dragon Quest, and they're working on Dragon Quest 12, the remake, the HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest 3, and I always am low-key hoping that there will be a sequel announced to my favorite Switch game of all time. Of the 500 physical games that I own, my favorite Switch game, better than Breath of the Wild, in my opinion, Dragon Quest Builders 2. And I was so disappointed there was no Dragon Quest Builders 3. But also, it would just have been really cool to see the HD 2D Dragon Quest 3 remake, too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Is that the pixel? Is that the pixel remaster thing?
Literally, what is like the JRPG Direct? That was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Makes me concerned for how long it's going to take.
I hear you on that.
Did I hear my name?
Well, I mean, several times. Anytime you hear the word "sexy," it's your cue.
Dude, you're offending a
Sexiest
lot.
man alive.
So what was
in
it?
Florida?
What was the question?
It was. Did you have anything else you want to say
Alive
before
or
we?
dead in
Anything
Florida.
else you want to talk about before we sign out, direct wise or whatever?
Direct was a meh. I'm happy about a couple games, not most of them. I'm pretty sure it was good.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase this question. Setting aside Zelda, what was your favorite thing in the direct?
Besides Zelda?
Yeah, besides Zelda. That's like an easy answer.
I don't know. I don't think.
In terms of brand new announcements, it would be Fire Emblem, and then overall probably being more Crisis Core.
Sure. There you go. That's good.
Because I can't remember what was there.
Well, that's sad.
So
all you cared about was Zelda, so that's why it's meh.
All right.
Here's the quick version.
Okay.
Factorio, SpongeBob, Fitness Boxing, Fatal Frame, Mario Rabbids, Harvestella, Various Day Life, Resident Evil, Tales of Symphonia, Story of Seasons, Crisis Core, Tunic, Ib, Rune Factory, Bayonetta 3, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe,
Hey, we didn't even talk about
Bayonetta
that
3, Theaterism, Final Fantasy,
one.
Faith
Factorio.
Farm,
Did you say that one?
Octopath 2, Fire Emblem.
And NSO.
No, NSO stuff.
Oh, and the NSO games, yeah.
All right, so out of the entire announcement, the NSO announcements, I was really hoping we got more consoles, at least Game Boy. Let's see, Final Fantasy, that I'm getting day one. Harvestella, that one was good. I was already hyped for Mario plus Rabbids plus the whole with it being in the direct or not, so that one was good. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion passed, the other one pretty good. Bayonetta 3, I'm still not truly convinced in whether we're gonna get it or not. Tunic was cool because I started to play it on Xbox, so now that it's coming to the Switch, I don't have to play it on Xbox.
Sure. Sure.
See here, that's basically it. And then if I have any hopes and dreams, man, that they make more remakes of Legend of Zelda, just like they did Link's Awakening.
Exactly the same. No gameplay improvements allowed.
Yeah, just the same thing. I want to experience it because I've never played one of those games. I don't have the consoles to get those games nowadays. It's not fair to me. So I want to remake.
And the reason I say no gameplay improvements allowed is because that's how Nate feels. Because he specifically said on this podcast that he does not want to see Zelda 2 get remade because they would change things.
I want to see it get remade. I want to see why Nate likes it so much.
Yeah, exactly.
To play the original.
I don't have the NES. Well, I do have NES.
We'll play the original with
NSO.
Don't worry, they won't change
It's on
anything. Just how you
NSO.
want.
It's on Nintendo Switch Online.
It is?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
At least you can admit that. At least you admit
You
that.
really
Like,
want
you
to
really
play
don't
that
have an
one,
excuse. It is available on Switch.
It is? Fuck. Never mind.
Never mind. Here's the thing. It still holds up to this day to me, so.
Yeah.
Some of it's nostalgia, of course. I mean, you know what's funny, though? I hate when people treat nostalgia like it's a negative.
Yeah.
Like, go look up the definition of nostalgia. It's all positive. It's all positive association. Nothing negative about it. So if nostalgia is the reason you hold a game in high regard, good. I'm glad that you have a game that brings such positive feelings to you.
I don't think people use it as a negative. I think people use it as a reason, well, that's why I don't like it.
It's dismissive.
I don't have nostalgia for it.
It's dismissive sometimes, I think. Yeah. You only care about that game because of nostalgia. Okay, well, you can say that about any game you care about.
Right.
Or stop living in the past, blah, blah, blah. I've seen that happen.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't really have to be nostalgia. It could be a brand new opportunity for somebody who's never played. You know, I mean,
right.
Yeah. I mean, by the way,
I know that most people, when they hear me talk glowingly about Zelda 2 and they go play Zelda 2, all they do is tell me how trash it is. This reminds me of when I was on a debate with Player Essence a couple of years ago, and I said, and I talked about Return to Zork and how much I played that as a kid and really liked it. And then he went on live stream and said, oh, I want to see what this is all about. He played it, and literally 2 minutes in, he's like, this is a trash game. This is that. Because it's a point and click RPG.
Wait, which game?
Return to Zork. It's actually a whole franchise, but Return to Zork's my favorite one of the franchise.
Okay.
It originally started out as a text-based game, like back in the 70s. For those who don't know what that is, way back in the early PC games, it was text. Like, do you want to go north? Do you want to go south? And then you would make decisions, and then things would happen based on the decisions you made. And so what happened is Return to Zork was a visualized version of it that was still point and click, and it's very puzzle heavy, really puzzle heavy. And if you're not, and they're complicated puzzles, and it's not like your little mobile phone puzzle games. It ain't anything like that. It's very, very difficult to figure out how to progress because you have to think outside the box in this world, and you're trying to figure out what's going on in this world, and why are people dying, and what are the trolls doing, and what is going on, and when you get in this fight, why do I keep dying? Well, you think outside the box. There's other things you can do. What haven't you done? What haven't you thought about? You know, have you gone back to the forge in this one? Like, it's a very complex. It's the kind of game that I think a majority of players would need either a walkthrough for, or they would need a giant notebook to keep track of everything they've done so they can reference it later in the game in case they need it for something else. And I think that's why it makes it very hard for most gamers today to enjoy it, because it requires you to have a very good memory of things you've done. And people just, I mean, let's just be honest. I think, I don't, is this controversial to say that a lot of people like their hands held in some way when they're playing games? They like to know what they're supposed to do.
Well,
I consider there to be a couple different types of games. There's games that I call bedtime games, where they're games where you can turn your brain off.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And you can play them, have your handheld, whatever.
I feel like
and
that
then
way.
there's games where I like to be wide awake, like up on my couch, actually playing, and then I'll play a game like what you were just describing. You know what I mean? But I think depending on your mood, there's a couple categories, where you would put games, and you might want to play one or the other depending on that. But I see what you mean for sure.
Yeah, we see the actual genre of that.
I don't think I would do good, because I will probably forget the first move I made, on the second move.
Yeah, so it Return to Zork is a 1993 graphic adventure game. This is what it's officially called.
Everyone, if you're watching right now, type in the chat if you want Eric to hold your hand. Give me a thumbs up.
And Return to Zork is on Steam, and I am not crazy. It actually has, remember, a lot of people that play it today say it's a garbage game, it's crap, it's horrible. It's actually highly rated on Steam. It's a 4+ star game on Steam. So, for the people that like this style of game, it is considered one of the best. The thing is, it's very niche today. This used to be what gaming was way back when, but it's very niche today. Extremely niche. They don't really make a lot of games like this anymore. The closest would be maybe the Myst games and stuff of that ilk today, but this is on a completely different level to that, and it's very story driven. I wonder if I could find it. I had a box with a stack of notebooks like this. It was 15 high of notes from that game when I was playing it. Because even when you use walkthroughs.
What papers are you using that 15 high is this big? What the heck?
Notebooks.
15 papers like that.
Notebooks,
I said.
Oh, books.
Yeah, I said
Notebooks.
notebooks.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's what gaming was.
I remember
That's
those.
what gaming was back
I remember
then.
those.
My dad
notebooks.
made some of the notes. I started with my dad's notes because he couldn't ever beat the game. So I started with his notes and I expanded upon it, and all the way until I beat the game. And I remember when I beat the game, it was maybe one of the greatest feelings I've ever had.
I don't know if you guys ever used game facts with games in the 90s, like Phantasy Star and even Zelda, A Link to the Past, where you would go on game facts and they would have little maps for you.
Yep.
And it was all done with the little keyboard characters.
They still do it.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, they now they do it because it's it's mobile friendly. I'm like, is it? When I loaded your map, it was broken on my phone, but.
Well, I just use IGN guides now if I need that, because they just use screenshots.
Yeah,
multiple
and things have
screenshots.
expanded so much. Breath of the Wild, I remember the big Zelda fan sites released interactive maps that fans were contributing. Where are the Korok seeds? Where are the shrines? And so you could use this giant interactive map to figure out where things were.
I got a hardcover book strategy guide for that, because I bought my game off eBay. And the person who sold it to me just included that. And I remember when I finally went back to it and played it for the second time, where I actually finished it, I was in the hospital for a couple weeks.
Sure.
I was like, all right, I'm going to make the best of this hospital stay. I'm going to play it. So I just had my Switch and that book on my hospital bed for 2 weeks straight. It was great.
So before we dip out here, Jake, why don't you go ahead and plug what you were going to plug?
Oh, I was just going to shout out the sponsors of pretty sure of you guys and me too, Ewin Racing, the chairs that we're all rocking, except for the sexiest man in Florida, because he doesn't need sponsors.
Hold up, and you guys have to hook me up then.
You should actually just reach out to them on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. They're very
things.
responsive on Twitter.
But Ewin, if you go to their website, which I don't know what it is, but if you Google Ewin Racing chairs, you can get 30% off with code Jake Randall, which is a significant amount to get off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm forever grateful to Ewan Racing.
I wasn't even gonna plug them, but
they haven't
Nate
sponsored
reminded me.
us. Yeah, they haven't sponsored us since E3 last year. That's how we got these 2 chairs. They sponsored the show and wanted their chairs to be on the show the whole time, and I'm sure they must have loved it because they had their link on everything on our largest live streams ever that were all over 10K. So I'm sure they were very, very happy at the time with that. It's a little awkward now because last time I talked to him, because for those who don't know, we have these 2 chairs, and then I have the chair that I sit in when I'm editing videos. I don't use the ones on the set. And the reason I don't use the ones on the set is I don't want to add additional wear and tear to them. So then one looks like it's wearing out before the other. And then I'd have to worry, just rotate them or this. It gets all complicated in my setup to just keep moving all the wires and moving everything to move the chairs around. So I have a different chair, a Maxnomic chair that my parents got me 6 years ago that is completely falling apart. And so I reached out to them and I was like, hey, do you want to do like another ad spot? I could use like a third chair, and just figure this out, or, give me a discount or something and like still do an ad spot. And they just basically said, nah, man, we're good. And I said, okay, that's cool. And now I just signed a deal with Herman Miller for a $2,000 office chair to come. So,
okay. That's
so it's like, but it's like, it's not even fair because like we're talking about 2 different brackets of companies, with like what they do with equipment. But it was kind of like, I found it ironic when he's like, hey, can I plug Ewan? And I'm like, so I love Ewan. They were great to us. Yeah. But also like they shut me down last time. And now this other company is.
Anyway, so either company, either the $2,000 one or the E-Ring, if you're listening, my God,
Mike's like, just give me a chair.
Yeah. Mike said, you know what's funny? Well, I'll say this. You know what's funny about the Herman Miller thing? I didn't reach out to Herman Miller.
Listen.
So.
I'm sitting on metal, okay? This chair is falling apart. I can feel
that's what, every day I'm sitting on metal over there, yeah.
I wanted to sleep.
I mean, dude, I love my setup. I've literally been getting a foot massage this entire stream.
Oh, nice. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Okay, I need one of those because I have flat feet and they hurt so bad.
I need a chair. I need
I mean, these chairs are so nice though that I like the second we sat in them, I went out and bought one, like literally for myself.
Yeah,
so,
I have no complaints about the Ewan chairs. I'm a big boy. I'm hard on chairs. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to keep the Ewan chairs as nice as I can, as long as I can. That's why I don't want the wear on it. That's with the Maxnomic one, which is built similarly. I wore it out in 6 years. Well, I was planning to have these on set for like a decade.
Mm-hmm. And if anybody can tag me on Twitter and with the earring chair, so I can go ahead and contact them, because I don't want to sit on.
Dude, I can send you where to go on Twitter to DM them. They're very responsive. Even now, if I DM'd them right now, they would literally respond within like a half hour.
Yeah, but I doubt they'll send a chair to me. I only got.
Don't doubt it. Mm-hmm. Don't doubt it. The entire Hylian Gamecast, the Game Over Jesse, and yeah, sure, he's got a 100K channel, but like Daniel, who's got a smaller channel than you, and he got one. Mm-hmm. They like working with all creators, because if there's any chance that their chair can appear on camera, they want to be known as like the company that every YouTuber uses. It's kind of like when some companies reach out, like G Fuel used to sponsor like everybody. It's because it didn't matter if you were big or small. They wanted their brand on every YouTuber's channel, every streamer's channel.
Thank you, Jake.
They also sent me like a massage gun. Those like massage gun that like athletes use or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I remember I opened it on stream and I was using it on my back, and it made me moan so much, and it was just so awkward. But it felt so good.
Who sent you the massage gun?
The light to the senses.
Oh, God, I gotta get me one of those. You gotta send me a link. You got an affiliate code for that one? I'll give you some.
You can. It's the same thing. Code Jake Randall. Code 30% off.
Oh, okay. You just gotta give me a link on where to get that. I might have to get one of those. It made you moan that loud. I got experience. I got to experience it. I got to experience the moan.
For members, right? Well, it's only for members, right?
I love unexpected delights. Like I was telling this story on my last stream, but I used to work at Starbucks. If you didn't know.
Sure.
And I remember one time I was steaming milk, and like my friend that worked with me, this other employee, like jumped up behind me to scare me, and I literally knocked my wrist under the counter, and biffed the milk, and somehow I was wearing the Starbucks green apron. It went under the apron and just got me like lower stomach, crotch, thighs, everything. And I remember it hurt so bad for like 10 seconds, and then it felt amazing. It felt so good for like 15 seconds, and then it was normal.
Unexpected delights.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a
Unexpected
dump I
delight.
took once when
Afternoon delight.
a few seconds of pain and then unexpected. It is true though. Like, isn't it weird how like random crap happens and all of a sudden like
Literally.
this sucks, and then all of a sudden, oh, okay,
It was pretty good.
That
Now
wasn't-
I
that
always
wasn't
have
that bad.
milk
Then like
on me at all times.
10 seconds afterwards, you're like, oh shit, now I gotta clean up. This sucks.
I'm gonna steam some milk right after we get off.
He just keeps milk fresh off.
Is
the
that what
teat
they're
in his
calling it
house,
nowadays?
just for fresh skimming. Oh god.
Oh, God.
If you wonder where all
Wow.
your skim milk comes from, Jake Randall, I heard, skims all of it in the country. So
No, I need whole milk. I need it. I need it.
I know
extra
you're skimming
creamy.
it for other people. You're making use of that talent you have.
That's right.
Every
right.
time you buy a gallon of skim milk, just know there was another gallon that was spilled on him.
At least.
At least.
Oh,
at
boy.
least.
My shower's replaced to just do hot milk.
I heard it's good for the skin. It's good for the skin, right?
It is. Exactly.
There you go. There you go. Helps the skin complexion. All right. Well, thank you guys, all you guys for watching. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Jake Randall and Mike, as always, for coming on. It was.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. You know, we'll end up doing it again sometime in the future here when we can make it work. You guys should go check out their channels. I have no idea what Jake has coming up because I just noticed he's doing stuff because he's got another stream or another stream or another stream. And then he vanishes for 4 months and then he comes back and he streams again.
Yeah.
But every time he streams, it's a real good time. And gotta say, your streams lately have been kind of cool since it's been more chill. Because you kind of come down from the PS5 rush and now you got that core audience and that. It's awesome. It's awesome when you
Yeah,
have
it's
that
been
core.
fun, and I appreciate you stopping by. I know you've come by several times recently.
Yep,
so
yep. I
appreciate
stop
that,
by
man.
whenever I can. I don't always say something. I don't know why I don't. Just sometimes
I get it. I mean, I'm on yours sometimes, and I don't say anything either.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. You like, and my audience has started realizing that you're around a lot. So it'll be like 2 hours and no one will say anything, and then someone in the chat will be like, "So Jake Randall, what are you doing?" And then he's like, "How do you know I was here? I've been found."
I got exposed one time because like someone was gifting memberships, I think, and I got one.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a gifted membership
Yeah.
that hit you, and Jake Randall's here.
I was
like,
like,
Jake Randall's here.
You caught me.
Like, I didn't know Jake Randall was here. YouTube doesn't give me a list of users, so.
Well, here I'm gonna regret telling you this, but if you do the @ symbol into the chat and start typing anyone's name, if they're watching, it'll automatically
Oh, yeah.
populate. So if you type the @ symbol right now and start typing Jake, you'll see me pop up.
Yep. I knew
So you
I
can
knew that,
always-
but that requires that I have to remember to search for you, which I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, don't do it.
don't do it. Don't do it. Be like,
Don't do
"What?
it, chat.
Oh, guys, I wonder if Jake Randall's. Okay, he's in the chat. Oh man, who else is here? Man, who else is RGT lurk? Oh no, he's not. Mike, you got
Cowboys' butts drive me nuts. Who's that?
what?
I just happened to search for that, and they're here.
What?
All right.
Who searches? What is that? Mike, you got anything you want to tease about any upcoming content?
Yeah, well, December 10th is our super mega awesome super duper giveaway. Like, every year.
Yep, your holiday giveaway. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to pull Prime Fest or so it's gonna be like it's gonna start early and be throughout the day. So we're gonna have that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
look
then
forward to seeing what you do with a whole day like that.
yeah, man, I'm just gonna sit
Dude,
there.
it's
and-
crazy when I'm doing like 3-4 of them. I don't even know.
So-
No.
I'm insane. I
gonna
don't
be
even
there.
know. I don't even know. Nobody knew. Nobody knew what I was doing.
Right.
And then September 21st, I'm gonna start my 100 days of a video. So basically, every single video for 100 days, the last 100 days of the year, and in every single video, I'm gonna share a piece of my life, basically, just
Yeah.
a little bit of It's gonna start when I first started losing my sight, all through the process, and then where I am now.
So I'm starting a mic notebook on the 21st to make note,
Yeah.
so I can get the full story by the end.
Yeah, so if you guys want to know, what happened, I used to have 20/20 when I was like 14 years old, 15, 16,
Yeah.
17. It all went downhill,
Yep.
Car accidents, tragedies, airplane crashes, and a whole bunch of stuff in the middle.
Holy shit.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Yeah. He's told a few of the stories here. Not quite everything, but he's told a few. Or maybe I just heard some of them behind the scenes too. Maybe I don't know. Either way, it's a good way to get to know someone. Plus, it's neat because you're not like stopping your content. Oh, you're still gonna get the news. You're still gonna get this. It's just also, hey, there's your little tidbit for those that really care and want to know more.
Yep.
That's neat. It's a neat idea, man. Well, good luck with that.
Hey,
I would say I'm going to start 100 days, but I think I do a video a day already, so.
Listen. I got 2 words for you.
What's up? Peace.
No.
Love.
1. Never give up.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm number 1.
2.
You're number
Journey
one.
on.
You're number
Peace.
2.
It was 2. What did you say? You say turn me on?
I said,
Whoa!
Did I miss something? I was too busy flipping the birds
What
to
was
Eric to
2?
know what
What
was
was
happening.
2?
What was happening?
1, never give up. Number 2, journey on.
Oh, turn me on. Okay.
Got it. Yep. Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah. Number 2, journey on. Turn me on. Yes. I did hear it correctly. All right.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Every single video I do, I end up like that. Number 1, never give up. Number 2, journey on. It ends up being peace. That's how I leave.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. So, obviously, guys, this is the Nintendo Prime podcast. What's up?
I do have one other thing. Jake found that really weird ass name. We did miss a super chat, and it was from
I didn't read it because of
there was no message behind it. But the username was like,
that's why I didn't read it.
yeah, no, I know. But the username was really freaking awesome. It was like, I want this ostrich to die in the sand or something like that. I was like, what the hell?
No.
That's freaking
So-
great.
No. I didn't read.
that.
It's a reference to a commenter. That's why I didn't read
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Someone who was banned on the channel a long time ago. But
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
No, yeah, no. That's why I kind of ignored it. By the way, whoever did that, I know it's one of your alt accounts or whatever.
Yeah.
I appreciate the $2 of support, but obviously I'm not going to read off a username that is insulting somebody else when I know it's insulting
Yeah,
somebody
fair
else.
enough.
So,
I didn't know that, but
So, yeah.
I was just, I'm like
you do
looking
it
at that, I'm
for
like,
$5?
what the hell?
This is a totally innocent bystander, dude.
But
So he's
I was like, what
so
the
he's
hell?
oh.
This is a freaking great username.
But
But
hey, I'm not a fan
no.
of the ostrich
Yeah.
myself, but he is technically a person, so we don't
Yeah, no, fair
allow
enough.
that kind of stuff on our channel.
No, fair enough then.
That's why I didn't read it. I literally was like, nope. Can't read that one out loud.
Yeah. Okay, so never mind then.
Someone's going to get me with Jack Me Off or something
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
and
of
I'm
course.
Gonna,
Seymour
see, those
Butts.
I'll read. Those I'll
Seymour
read.
Butts.
That's like whatever. It's really bad when I don't see it coming. I'm trying to pronounce it because it's spelled differently.
Yeah.
And then it still sounds the
Oh,
same.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
They got me. That being said, this is the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 67. If you're listening to the audio version, man, aren't you
Can I be on
lucky?
in
Because
2 episodes then?
What?
For science reasons.
what'd you say?
If this is episode 67, could I possibly be on for 2 episodes from now?
Yes. You want to lock in the 28th?
No, he wants to log into 69.
I know what he wants. He wants to be on
69,
episode 69 because episode 69 only happens once.
Which
Yeah,
is
I need
shitty.
it.
I might
Yeah,
miss
no,
it.
no. Hey, perfect. If Eric won't be here, that's perfect. You want to come in and lock in 2 weeks from now? I don't have anyone on yet for that week.
All right, I'm locked in.
All right, locked in.
What?
Jake Randall will be back in 2 weeks.
Episode 69. Get hyped.
Episode 16. He's got to be here. He's got to be here. I also have to make this work. Like, if it ends up just being me, Jake, and Mike, I might have a screen here to replace Eric, and a screen here and me, and you guys
just
would
take
be
this and
Mike and Jake
take
would be on
this and
separate
rotate it.
screens.
Just take this and rotate it.
No.
We
Let's
have
do-
to have a dance party at the 69th minute.
The 69th
Ah,
minute,
yes.
yes. You have to have a timer. A timer
a
for
timer,
every
yeah.
69. The first 69 seconds
Yeah.
after we get past. No, because it's a 10-minute thing. It'd have to be the 69th minute. Yeah, we have to do that. Or
And a
anytime it's
timer for when- So we
6969.
know when the 69th minute
The
comes.
69th hour. Son of a bitch.
It'll be like New Year's, like Y2K, but it's just like 69.
I got to make
minutes.
sure I have like a button to hit to make a bunch of 69s float on the screen at the right
Get some
time.
like fireworks, some strobe lights. Gotta go
Yeah,
crazy.
gotta go all out for it. Anyways,
Just,
so I guess
just make sure
Jake will
it's
be back.
actually fireworks,
Jake-
not something else.
So Jake will be back out in 2 weeks. But yeah, this is episode 67. We'll if you're listening to the audio version, damn, you're dedicated because you probably just got spammed with 5 episodes in a row. So congratulations on that. Enjoy all the listening. Enjoy everything we said before the direct happened that is completely irrelevant by the time you listen to it. But you got this one to cap it off. And I was waiting for it. I knew he was going to hit the button. Beyond that, yeah, there's always stuff happening at my channel. Obviously, we have our Prime 5 Monday through Friday. The 5 biggest Nintendo news stories in the last 24 hours. We'll have another episode tomorrow and the day after. And then weekends. Lately, I've just been dropping like one random news piece that I just really want to talk about. So it's like more of an old school kind of video versus the Prime 5. I also am eventually going to start having a little bit of how-to videos coming out, but none of that has to do with my core audience. That has to do with reaching a new audience. So it's not really videos for you. It's more like videos for other people, like my children that don't know how to do things. Like it's nice to be able to help them and their friends and stuff like that. And then besides that, there's just a number of other things in the works behind the scenes. I obviously mentioned that we're doing something with Herman Miller coming up, but besides that, I'm just working diligently on trying to make everything I do better. I'm not trying to do a crazy amount of a billion types of content, guys. I'm trying to take what we already do and making it better than it's ever been. There's going to be some new experimentation happening with the Prime 5 videos next week. The format's not going to change, but there's going to be some stuff in the editing you're going to notice it's different. I would appreciate some feedback on. The
Prime stamps?
Like the Prime stamps. You know, the ones that happen just on the lower back, right above the waist. And then I don't know, I've even been looking into altering the podcast set just a little bit. We'll see if that comes through. And just a bunch of other things. Because the bottom line is, I really love what we're doing, and I just want to make it even better. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, this is the first time you've ever heard a podcast, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the Nintendo Prime Podcast YouTube channel, because we also do live streams every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday on that channel as well. We took them away from our main channel to help YouTube not get as mad at me for putting up too many videos in a day or something. I don't know. Whatever was pissing off the algorithm. Whatever. I don't understand it. I just do what I'm told. Mike tells me what to do, and my MCN tells me what to do, and my wife tells me what to do. My children tell me what to do. Eric half the time tells me what to do. He just slaps me around a little bit. Hey, have you ate? No. Okay, well, we're having this. Oh,
right. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
well, I didn't eat because I'm on a diet. Okay, cool. Let's eat.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Website.
Yeah, you talk about the website.
Website.
You helped build it.
There's a website. Holy shit.
Yeah.
NintendoPrime.net.
Hold on. So I'll talk about the website.
Okay.
All right, guys. So guess what? NintendoPrime.net is live, right? And rumors of the Nintendo Prime channel, go ahead, visit www.nintendoprime.net today. If you do, you will get 5% off everything that the website sells. Do you currently have something for sale on the website?
No.
Then you will get 10% off everything that's on sale on the website, only at NintendoPrime.net. But if you act now and visit NintendoAcademy.com, you will also get an extra 5% off everything for sale on the website as well. Brought to you by the Topic Podcast.
Sure. Why not? Plug it all. Nobody cares.
I swear.
to
You know what
plug.
I need
Sorry.
to do when you have an upcoming Topic podcast? I need to put a sponsored spot in a video for you.
Yeah.
This video is sponsored by Nintopic Podcast.
Yeah.
I do have a Topic Podcast coming up with Henry McIntyre, the voice of
Is it
Noah.
Noah from Xenoblade? Yep.
Yeah.
What day is that coming out? Is that this month?
Yeah, it comes out on the last Saturday of every month. It's going to be the
Oh, so the 24th. Okay. So, all right. So that Friday, I need to run a promo for you. Don't worry. We can work out the details on payment later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
You pay. I just want love back. That's it. Just love. Just lots of love.
I can give you my
It'd be like
market.
Jake.
There's
If you
milk
wanted me to
involved, I'm
promote
down.
him, it's just a couple quick finger guns. That's all I need.
I got you.
Wait, that's not mine. That's Jake thing. Finger.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like when I'm like, oh yeah, let's pound it. Oh, isn't that like PewDiePie, where he used to fist bump everyone on the way out of videos? Maybe. No, because nobody
Wait,
watched
what?
PewDiePie except me, because I was a loser. I know. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't put yourself down like that.
That's all right. Dude, I was the best kind of loser, man. Dude, no one wants a sore loser. I wasn't sad about being a loser. It just made me want to be a winner all the more.
Yeah, man.
You are a winner.
Winner, I try to be.
Winner, wiener.
Winner,
What's the difference?
All right, guys. That's going to do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's the Nintendo Prime Podcast. We'll catch you in the next episode.